mindful of the fact that they have never lost on Thursday night at home, 9-0. But a year ago, Georgia Tech up in Atlanta robbed their manhood, as Craig said early. Miami rolled in with a 5-game winning streak. They had just beaten Virginia Tech, but the Jackets took it to them with that option offense on the ground. They had 4 guys rush for 75+ yards. 472 yards rushing, the second most given up by Miami, and that Jackets defense smothered Shannon's crew as well. It was 41-10 after the third quarter got slightly more respectable. One of 4 consecutive wins for Georgia Tech over Miami. The Hurricanes have the worst record against this team than any team in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Jackets run out quietly confident against Randy Shannon in his 3rd season, off to a good start, jumping into the top 20 by knocking off Florida State. A thrilling game up in Tallahassee. Says that finally he has confidence in this team's leadership. There's a very good feeling about this 2009 team. Paul Johnson, a week ago tonight, escaped the trap against Clemson. Dramatic win for the Jackets. And they walk into Miami tonight trying to make it 5 in a row over the Canes. Another important early season collision between contenders in this league.
I got the vibe this week from Paul Johnson, a little more focused, sensed the urgency, Jesse, didn't you, that he was there, and certainly Randy Shannon, you know he's on fire for redemption.
I think both of these teams understand the significance of tonight's football game. Sure, we're only in the 3rd week, but this has major Coastal Division implications.
See the humidity, 65%. That'll be a concern. Miami believes that they're better able to cope with it than Georgia Tech. The Jackets, by the way, playing their 3rd game in 12 days. Miami a little bit fresher. They've had a couple more days to get ready for this one.
Miami had 10 days to prepare for this Georgia Tech team. That was huge, both on offense and that defense. Craig, get ready for that triple option.
Alex Uribe to kick it off for Miami. Matt Bosher, who did everything last year, punt, kickoffs, very good field goal kicker. They want to kind of lighten his load, so Uribe will boot it deep. The true freshman, Orwin Smith, and Anthony Allen, who scored early last week against Clemson, back to receive the kick. In the direction of Smith, he'll let it bounce out of bounds, so right away the penalty on Miami, and very good field position for Tech at the 40-yard line. Each of the first 2 games, fellas, they've struck early. Against Jacksonville State, it was Dwyer with a touchdown, and then Anthony Allen, the transfer from Louisville, got loose for 82 yards.
This is a team that really relies on the big plays, and tonight Miami's defense is going to try to limit those big plays and force the 10 to 15 play drives.
So Nesbitt only completed 3 passes. All of them were for over 20 yards last week, Jesse, but he played poorly in Johnson's mind.
He got off to a very slow start. Paul Johnson did tell us, though, that when he plays bad, he normally bounces back the next week and plays great.
Dwyer is the fullback, and a whistle before the snap. Ford Howard the guard, so it'll be 1st and 15. Nesbitt, a strong physical runner, made some clutch throws, Jesse, when he had to late last week.
He did. He got off to a slow start. Was only 1 of his first 11 with 2 interceptions, but when they needed it most on a big 3rd and 11, he threw a big completion to help his team win.
1st and 15, Dwyer for a short gain. The ACC's Offensive Player of the Year last year, stopped by Jordan Futch. He's, of course, one of the impact players. Really has yet to explode, yet he's still averaging 6.4 a carry.
Well, they don't throw it much, as you saw on the graphic, but Demarius Thomas, when they do, he's a big, tall receiver, and he fights for the football.
Derek Morgan might be the best defensive end in all of college football. Miami will know where he is lined up on each and every snap.
Second down was a treble down for Nesbitt last week, just 1 of 7 on second down throws. And on 2nd and 13, he keeps it and has a crease. And Nesbitt spinning into Miami territory to the 42, showing his strength as a runner. Brandon Harris stopped him.
Well, this is really now assignment football, and we're going to see the block down and the pull. You're going to come around here, you're going to see the block down and the angles that they try to get at Georgia Tech. guard pulls around, Jesse, and if Howards are able to get around there, they've got the leverage.
That is a midline scheme. You're going to see a lot tonight. Expect Josh Nesbitt, if they take that dive away and play him outside, he's going to run up between the tackles. He scorched Clemson with those type plays last week.
21-yard gain to the 43 of Miami. And here's a pitch. Allen barrels inside the 35. Another nice gain on first down. Sam Shields, the converted receiver, on the stop.
When we talk about the option, you're talking about multiple things they can do, which really puts the pressure on the assignments, Jesse, that the coaches talk so much about, but then you start watching the game instead of playing the game.
There's a big pressure on Miami's defense tonight to understand the blocking schemes that Georgia Tech is trying to use up front. Craig, you mentioned they're multiple. Defensively, Miami has to play very smart football.
And 2nd and 1. Nesbitt hands it to Dwyer, who's knocked backwards. Excellent play by Alan Bailey, the junior tackle.
A big key tonight for Miami on defense is to have great play from both defensive tackles. Last week against Clemson, Georgia Tech really struggled blocking up the middle, and that in effect took Jonathan Dwyer out of the game last week.
We'll set up terminology for tonight. Miami's defense wants to create a hump in the Georgia Tech offensive line. We'll show you what they're talking about if they can accomplish it.
He got a pretty good spot. They actually gave him yardage in that play, so 3rd and inches for the Tech offense here in their first possession. Nesbitt gets enough, leaning to the 30.
You know, last week against Clemson, as the game started wearing on, Georgia Tech was very bad on first down. They were only gaining marginal yards. It put them in a lot of 3rd and longs. This offense is not built to complete passes on 3rd down. They started 0 for 9 on their first 9 3rd downs last week. This is what they need to do. Keep these 3rd downs manageable.
Not the start the Miami defense envisioned, as Tech has already run for 30 yards in this drive. That's Allen in motion. He's got the pitch. Cuts it back. Gets a couple blocks, and Anthony Allen. Another big gain inside the 20. A flag is down. Randy Phillips, the vocal leader of the defense, pushed him out of bounds. Now we'll check the marker. You heard block in the back down there. Yep. We got Childress. We hope less controversy from the ACC crew than we had a week ago. We'll get into that a little bit later.
10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
Henry Peoples, the A-back, guilty of the illegal block.
Already, in my mind, I'm seeing a defense that's watching, trying to figure out. Their eyes have their feet planted in grass right now.
Too much thinking?
They're thinking that, and that way that these blocks are getting to them. They're getting the angles at Georgia Tech that they're looking for to block them.
Move up from the spot of the foul, so it's 1st and 11. Nesbitt on the pitch. Marcus Wright. The young sophomore, his first carry. Harrison Phillips tackled him.
I think when you play Georgia Tech, the first thing you think of is stop last year's ACC Offensive Player of the Year, Jonathan Dwyer. But in reality, there are so many weapons back there running the football. Whether it's the quarterback, Josh Nesbitt, whether it's Anthony Allen, who we've already seen tonight. Roddy Jones is a guy you're going to see get a bunch of carries here as well. There are a lot of weapons in this Georgia Tech backfield that can take it to the house, and that puts added stress on this Miami defense.
Handed back up one side to right, and a reverse. And he's dragged down near the marker by Harris. Already some early wrinkles, and you see the dimensions of this offense.
Yeah, look at, watch this now. This is crazy. You're going to have a pull here, and you're going to have a ball carrier coming around up inside. It's a counter. Outstanding job of them really putting that doubt in the defense's mind.
Well, they're playing off of that sweep play they had already given Anthony Allen twice earlier in the game. So already now you see a wrinkle from Paul Johnson's offense.
Every offense loves a 3rd down this distance. Need about a length of the football. 9th play of this drive. Nesbitt inside the 20. Eric Moncourt, the 6th-year senior defensive end, seeing his first action of the season on the stop.
Eric Moncourt had a groin injury and was forced to miss the first game of the season. This past fall camp, he actually went to Philadelphia to see a specialist about growing pain. He's playing with some pain tonight, but Randy Shannon said he's a guy they love having back for this game because he doesn't make mistakes, and that is great to hear when you're playing against an offense like Georgia Tech.
On first down, it's Dwyer for a short gain. It's already Tech piling up about 45 yards rushing in this opening possession.
You know, actually, Chris, update a little bit here. That's the 10th play of this drive, and it's around 60 yards that they have now, all running. So you're seeing that Georgia Tech accomplishing what they want. Now, Miami said we want them to go 10 to 15 plays because we think they'll make a mistake.
Well, they haven't made very many mistakes right now. They've had some penalties on first down, but they're getting big chunks on second down to make these third downs manageable.
Dwyer again, not brought down immediately, but bounced out, and finally Moncour with help from Wesley. So now the first tricky third down conversion attempted for the Jackets. They'll need about 7.
You know, right now, if you're Miami defensively, you're circling one guy on Georgia Tech's offense. That's wide receiver Demarius Thomas. He is the go-to guy when this team gets down on third.
He's at the top of the formation.
There he is.
No other receivers in this offense have a catch through 2 games. Nesbitt on the keeper, stops. And there's the experience of Moncour. Read it right, Craig, not fooled.
Not fooled at all. In the inside, if they can't block the defensive tackles in the ends, they have no chance. And look at the inside here, Jesse. Again, if they can't clear and push.
I think it's a win for Miami defensively. Defensive coordinator John Levitt told us, look, we don't mind them going up and down the field on us as long as we keep them out of the end zone. They were able to do that here on that drive.
Scott Blair was our Wrangler 5-star player of the game a week ago. Threw a touchdown pass. It was 3 for 3. Very good inside 40 yards. And this dead center from 32. So Georgia Tech marches down the field, takes up almost 7 minutes, takes a 3-0 lead.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
The Yellow Jackets doing what they do, grinding out a long drive on the ground. All 13 plays were rushes. And Blair with the field goal. Miami will now take over for their first possession. They hope for a 3-and-out. Randy Shannon hoping his defense will improve on that first series performance.
They were hoping for a 3-and-out. They're not hoping his offense goes 3-and-out because that puts that tired Miami defense right back on the field.
Blair to boot it deep. And this is Craig Cooper, the running back, also a very dangerous return man. And Cooper darts out to the 25. What a game for Ja'Cory Harris in his 3rd college start. He split time as a freshman with Robert Marv, who's since transferred. But Harris went up to Tallahassee and was brilliant, frankly. Travis Benjamin, the young receiver, touchdown on a post here. You got Leonard Hankerson, the veteran of the receiving corps, involved on the final drive. And then this was a huge pass looking back for Benjamin. Seminoles bite on that. Big touchdown catch. That was Cooper. 21 of 34, 386, and a couple of touchdowns for Harris. Unusual formation here. Harris looks back to his left and incomplete, looking for Dedrick Epps, who was well covered. Little wrinkle from the Canes there. We check the impact players here.
Travis Benjamin was huge in week 1 against Florida State. He'll make an impact in this game, not only catching the ball, but on special teams as well.
Chris has already mentioned his name once. Alan Bailey, defensive tackle, was a linebacker. He has to be really active inside tonight.
Randy Phillips, the big hitting senior safety. If there was a guy in the locker room that gave a fiery speech, talked about revenge, it was probably Phillips.
I didn't like that little wrinkle to start the game. Come on out, be traditional, get some established stuff going before you get tricky.
Now, whistle before the snap and a false start. So inauspicious beginning for this Miami offense.
You know, Mark Whipple's new offensive coordinator there, smart guy.
False start, 65 of the offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
It's Matt Pepo, the senior. The to call him the brain. Smart guy. He's going to go to medical school, but not a very smart play there. And there's Whipple.
There's Whipple there. You know, he's got a good young quarterback. He comes out, throws a little variety at him at the first play, but get the game started right.
Whipple was the quarterback coach for Ben Roethlisberger with the Steelers, and also was at the Eagles. Longtime head coach of UMass in 1AA. Javaris James hammers straight ahead. In fact, Whipple squared off against Paul Johnson's Georgia Southern team when they were in the championship game in 1AA.
You're going to see this unbalanced formation a lot tonight. Up top here, that's Jason Fox. He's regularly the left tackle, but they will send him to the strength of the field to put a bigger body where the football is going to be run. Mark Whipple brought that with him here to Miami. Watch for that a lot tonight as Miami tries to play very physical up front at the point of attack.
James has yet to get on track this year. The senior averaging just 3.3 per carry. And this is 3rd and 11. Good protection, and Harris has a man over the middle. There's Leonard Hankerson. They call him the old man, the junior. They are effective throwing those crossing routes.
You know what they're effective with? They've got a quarterback that sees the field right to left and in the middle of the field, right in his vision. Look at Hankerson coming across, the timing of the route.
Well, his man coverage, he was able to get separation from Gerard Tarrant, who's a very good athlete at quarterback. You know what's nice when you're a quarterback? When your receivers are all over 6'3", and that's exactly what Miami has. They have great size at wide receiver.
35 yards for Hankerson. Keens moving on the dirt infield now. Protect 40. Play action. Looking down the middle of the field for LaRon Johnson. And LaRon Bird, I should say, catches it for a touchdown. Bird, such a highly touted recruit when he arrived here from Louisiana. Big things expected from him. Hadn't had a catch against the Noles, but a big one to get Miami the lead. Bosher with the conversion. So each team producing points on its opening possession. Jackets doing it their way, and Ja'Cory Harris lighting it up downfield.
It's out. ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's. It's a whole new neighborhood. And in part by Mercedes-Benz. You must experience the amazing new E-Class.
So Miami's four-play drive, a couple of incompletions, and then a 35-yarder to Hankerson and a 40-yarder to LaRon Bird for the touchdown.
This is a very young wide receiver group, but they are capable of huge plays. Randy Shannon understands that, and you're going to see these guys, if they're allowed to run wide open like we just saw, expect Ja'Cory Harris to take a lot of advantage of that tonight.
Just ask Mickey Andrews in that Florida State defense. So Uribe to boot it deep. Is he going to kick it out of bounds again? He just earned this job. They may make a switch once again as the fans boo. Tech will take over at the 40 after the penalty.
Well, here you got two-back formation, free safety up, corner over. He's got the middle of the field, right, Jesse?
Well, on this play, you're going to see Morgan Burnett, the safety, plays down over the tight end. Now, right now, Ja'Cory Harris has LaRon Bird running in this area. It is up to Mario Butler to get to that throw, but he's very slow on this. Ja'Cory Harris kind of puts a lot of air under the ball. I thought Mario Butler could have got there sooner to break that play up.
Looked like he hesitated.
A little bit, sure.
Back to work, and Nesbitt wrapped up for a short gain. Andrew Smith smothered it. The Canes will rotate defensive linemen in there to try to keep fresh bodies in there.
Absolutely they will, but talk about fresh bodies, paying off that touchdown. Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator, said he has to get LaRon Bird involved early, right? He has to spread the love. So you've already got one goal accomplished over at Miami.
Yeah, it's tough when you get shut out in the big rivalry game. Those receivers can start hanging their heads if they don't get the ball thrown their way. So check that off the list. They pitch it wide. Thomas just stiff arms a man to the ground, but could not escape. Sam Shields, usually used to catching passes, not making tackles. Pretty good job.
Well, Sam Shields was a wide receiver his first 3 years. In fact, he had 75 catches over that span, but he's playing cornerback tonight. Coach told us he thinks he's a good tackler. You see it right there.
Hang on.
Holding on for dear life. He's got a very big job tonight when he has to cover Demaryius Thomas.
Because Thomas isn't just 6'3", he's 230. You can see the power.
It's like Terrell Owens. He's big.
3rd and 3. Nesbitt on the pitch. Allen, nowhere to go. Sean Spence and Von Telmack, the safety combined. They lose 3.
We told you about the hump in the quarterback at the line of scrimmage, and I'm going to try to show you here. Bailey, the defensive tackle, is going to get hard inside, and from the side, watch the quarterback jump back, and the timing's off. Now you've got the secondary up there, and they're ready to make the play.
Give Miami a lot of credit. Roddy Jones was trying to get a cut block on the perimeter. Sean Spence just spun around him and was there to make the tackle.
So Chandler Anderson, the talented freshman Travis Benjamin, ugly looking kick, will bounce sideways and bounce dead at the 29-yard line. So Miami's defense produces the 3 and out. Canes go back on offense, up 7-3.
Most uncertain.
Strong lineup on ABC, 3:30 Eastern Time regional game. Steve Sarkisian left Pete Carroll's staff. Now the head coach at Washington. Jake Locker and the Huskies try to shock the Trojans, who roll in on a high. Some parts of the country will see Nebraska, Virginia Tech. We'll talk about that intersectional game later tonight, or Arizona against Iowa.
News coming out of USC, Matt Barkley still not able to throw with that bruised shoulder. They say Aaron Corp may have to go ahead and get that start for USC.
Back-to-back road games with first-time starters. Javaris James, the setback, but they flip it out to Bird, and no gain this time. Mario Butler, the corner, was right there.
You know what, USC playing Washington, this is obviously an emotional game for Washington with Steve Sarkisian being there now, the new head coach. Think back to Oklahoma State. They beat Georgia. Next week, a big game. Houston beats them. USC, a lot of energy on the road at Ohio State. Not an easy place for them to come back and then have to play at Washington.
Huskies gave a great effort against LSU. Didn't have enough steam in the 4th quarter. We'll see if they can be respectable. This is James on 2nd and 10. Hammers straight ahead for about 3.
So you call it, would you call it Redemption Saturday or Payback Saturday?
I don't think I put a label on it, but I just said it was a theme.
I thought I heard you sell it a while ago.
Well, don't you think so? I mean, Nebraska was embarrassed in their field by Virginia Tech. We know that Texas lost their shot at the national title in Lubbock.
Yep.
Obviously, Florida would like to silence Mr. Kiffin in the swamp.
Think they'd like to build a woodshed?
They've got the materials ready. 3rd and 5. Harris flips it off short. Benjamin fighting near the marker. This will be close at the 39. Morgan Burnett, the rover, one of the studs in that defense, tried to stop him short, and they'll measure.
I think Ja'Cory Harris in this football game tonight is going to have to be very, very sharp mentally, because against Florida State, I would argue that he had some more vanilla looks defensively to throw into. They play a lot of man coverage. They play a little bit of cover 2 zone with 2 high safeties, but tonight, Georgia Tech defensively is going to try to present him with a lot of different coverages, and Ja'Cory Harris really has to be smart.
But don't you get the feeling, though, that regardless of what these teams throw at Ja'Cory Harris, he's going to figure it out?
This is real close.
That's a credit card call there.
They give him the first down. Looked about half an inch shy, didn't it?
Slide the ATM on that one.
Close enough, I guess.
I
I wouldn't gamble too much against Ja'Cory Harris if I were a defensive coordinator.
I'll tell you what, he was so good on first down passing against Florida State. That's a theme we've already seen him have a lot of success so far tonight on first down.
Can you believe it? They threw 18 first down passes against the Noles, completed 14 of them. James. Very little room inside there. Logan Walls with the backup tackles on the stop.
And again, Ja'Cory Harris was so good on first down against Florida State. Chris, you mentioned it, 14 of 18, 284 yards and 2 touchdowns on that down.
They're going to hurry up here. James has some room on the left side. Gets a block on the edge and dives into Tech territory. Travis Benjamin, a talented receiver, pretty good blocker as well, the freshman.
All right, look at this Georgia Tech defense now. Derek Morgan, there's a defensive end. He's been playing linebacker the last 2 plays now. They're not in rhythm on defense. Trying to protect him, he's getting cut.
Burnett kind of overran the play, and Benjamin just kind of helped him out of the way.
Give Miami's offense a lot of credit for mixing up the tempo, going hurry up, and really having Georgia Tech off balance. And now you see Derek Morgan gassed already.
That was a problem last week against Clemson. Here's a first-round throw. Harris, lots of time. Taking a shot downfield for Bird again, and it's incomplete. That time they stiffed it out, and Butler was right there.
This is one Ja'Cory Harris is wanting to get back. He had his 6'8" tight end, Jimmy Graham, running a crossing route wide open towards the left side.
How do you miss a 6'8" guy?
It's hard to.
Well, I tell you how you miss him. You try to force something down the middle of the field, but you're going to see over on the right side of your screen here, he's going to come down. There's number 80 coming our way, Jimmy Graham. Everybody drops deep. They're not going to get beat deep again, and the ball should have gone underneath. So I think Ja'Cory that time just predetermined. I'm pushing the ball down the field.
Well, he's locking on to guys like LaRon Bird and his big playmakers instead of throwing to the open guy.
Rams, the former basketball player, Miami. Harris flips it short. Getting a block is Cooper. Hammering straight ahead inside the 35. That's a first down.
So here's Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator. I'm pushing the ball deep, and now I come back at you, Jesse. I'm going to make you work underneath and cover screens as well.
They did a very good job against Florida State, setting up screens early, and that really keeps the pass rush soft. When you're playing against a defense that features maybe the best defensive end in all of college football, those type plays are things you have to have in your arsenal if you're going to have success offensively.
They got Derek Morgan, Chris. He's back up on the defensive line this time up at the top here. So they're putting him back at his home base, not linebacker.
Another first down throw. Harris has time, dumps it short. Benjamin on a crossing route. He is thumped. Picked up about 4 and paid for it. Dominic Reese, the Wolf, on the stop.
You know, I think that's a sign a little bit of Ja'Cory Harris's maturity as well. You have so much success week 1 throwing the football deep downfield. You complete nearly everything you throw over 18 yards downfield. And now you just drop back, just take what the defense gives you. Travis Benjamin running across on a little shallow crossing route at 6 yards. Force feed him. It's 2nd and 6. Move on to the next play.
James is the tailback. He's got it. Picks up about 2.
The one observation in college football that I've noticed over the last 5, 6, 7 years, I think, is when you bring in an offensive coordinator who's been in the NFL, he injects enthusiasm and expectations to his team that he comes here, and he knows a little bit more about the game and how to get you in situations.
Yeah, Whipple ball. A success for the Canes in the first 5 quarters of the season, 7-3 after 1. Home opener for Miami. They head to Virginia Tech a week from Saturday. Then Oklahoma comes in here in a couple of weeks. And will they have Sam Bradford? Canes on 3rd down. Need 4. Bird across the middle. Has first down yardage. So how about that? LaRon Bird shut out with an oath, but very active tonight.
You know, this is a good offensive coordinator that's teaching his guys. Watch how quick he gets to the inside. It's pitch and catch. That's stealing right there.
Well, not just that, but I think Ja'Cory Harris having a great understanding of the offense and the scheme. There's no hesitation. He knows right now at the pre-snap where he's going with the football. Just very confident play from the sophomore signal caller.
They're going a lot at Gerard Tarrant, who's speedy, but this is his first season playing corner there, so this is his third game. Harris already over 100 yards. Back to throw again. Flips it over the hand of Bird. And he got hit after the throw.
Ja'Cory Harris still had a lot of time to throw that football, and really a key for Georgia Tech is they have to get pressure on Ja'Cory Harris. Florida State could not do that in week 1, and Craig, their coaches talked about how they're just not deep on defensive line.
You know, and a very exhausting game last week, right? They didn't have those extra 2 or 3 days like Miami. So we knew for a fact coming in tonight that fatigue, and it should be, Aaron, if she's down there, ought to find out really how they're feeling, what they're talking about, how they feel over that Georgia Tech sideline.
Paul Johnson was concerned, you know, third game in 12 days again. Harris, again, flips it short. James has it. Javaris James down near the first down marker, won't have it. Morgan chased him down.
There's another unbalanced formation by Miami. You see a little bit of a wrinkle from offensive coordinator Mark Whipple. Sends a receiver in motion, and instead of running that power play downhill, running it, Craig, they set up a nice screen.
Yeah, I want you to watch the white jerseys, Jesse, Chris. Watch these guys running. This is fatiguing them. There's 7 guys at Georgia Tech up there trying to get around the ball, right? So they got to rush, turn around, stop, chase the football. That's how you wear out a defense.
Teams need 2 on third down. Play action. Harris rolls, throws to the end zone. Touchdown Epps. Whipple ball strikes again. The senior tight end wide open.
You've got to be patient. Left side block down. Patient, release. He sold the secondary. They committed to the run. Epps easily into the end zone.
Bosher on again. Ja'Cory Harris picking right where he left off against the Noles. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns, and exactly what you want against an option team. You get the early lead. Total reversal from last year's meeting up in Atlanta. It's Miami, impressive early, doing a good job on that Jackets option offense, and Josh Nesbitt will get the ball back, but down by 11 now.
Not an offense this year that's used to that. This team started out outscoring its opponents 38-0 in the first quarter.
Ja'Cory Harris on that 13-play drive, 7 for 9 for 49 yards. What a start for Harris coming off that huge game up in Tallahassee. So you're gonna try Mr. Uribe again. He just got the job, okay? He won a battle to do the kickoffs, and he's booted 2 of them out of bounds.
Just kick it in bounds. Keep your job for one more kick. Just kick this thing in bounds.
Sounds like his dad.
He's put it on the grass at least. He's found a little corner out there near second base to line this ball up. And this is Orwin Smith, the speedy true freshman. Steps inside, breaks an arm tackle, and gets out to the 40-yard line as we check back in the studio with Reese Davis. Reese?
Right, Chris, Sports Center right now. The Colts doing a little shuffling, and wide receiver Anthony Gonzalez, former Ohio State star, could miss up to 8 weeks with a sprained right knee. Colts have signed Hank Baskett, hoping to replace him. And saying bad words going to cost Roger Federer $1,500 using profanity during the U.S. Open. Sports Center coming up after the game. Stay current with ESPN News.
Thank you, Reese. Nice to be back in football, fellas, where people are more polite. You don't have the angry outbursts that we see at the tennis courts.
$1,500. He walks around with that in his pocket.
You can afford it. Jackets for the 3rd straight time on their 40, and Nesbitt a first down pass has Thomas, and they left him wide open. Bebe Thomas wrestled down in Miami territory. physically by Shields after a 17-yard gain.
Now, this isn't a pass-happy offense, but there's Paul Johnson. You find a way to get your main guy. Watch out what comes just to the flat. Be patient, hang out, clear out, throw it under.
But it's a nice job by Josh Nesbitt throwing his receiver open. A big soft spot there on the sideline. Instead of leading his receiver downfield, put it on his back shoulder for the easy catch.
And old Sam, the converted receiver, who's filling in for DeMarcus Van Dyke, who's out with a concussion tonight. A little confused on that play. This is Nesbitt. A little midline look. And Nesbitt bouncing off Canes for another big gain inside the 30. Colin McCarthy helping out with the tackle.
At 214 pounds, Josh Nesbitt is a load to bring down at quarterback. He had a great game last year against the Miami Hurricanes, running for 93 yards and a touchdown as well.
Got 16 there. Nesbitt, bad pitch to Allen, who has to fall on it after about a 5-yard loss. And that time the quarterback hit the ground. Is it a pitch relationship issue?
Yeah, it's a pitch relationship and a no pitch at all at the same time.
Well, this is something Georgia Tech has to do a better job of, is ball security. That was a blind pitch by Josh Nesbitt. He wasn't even looking at Anthony Allen. I think expecting him to be in a certain area when he let that football go. Instead, almost disaster for Georgia Tech's offense.
And it was McCarthy who popped Nesbitt just before the pitch. So 2nd and 15. Ronnie Jones running left, and has a wall of blockers. Ronnie Jones tiptoeing into the end zone. A flag is down. This is going to come back. Well executed until the illegal block. Ronnie Jones had a dislocated wrist, really slow to get going.
By 82 of the offense, that's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, second down.
He's kind of the third talented back they have here who hasn't been a factor yet this season, but he can go.
But it's what Paul Johnson told us about. You know, they haven't been able to play a full game with focus and intensity, and it's the wide receiver, Kevin Cone. He's going to be coming down at the top of your screen, coming back down the field. That has this penalty right there. You see the push in the back on Ryan Hill, the corner, and that's what has just hurt this Georgia Tech offense at times this year.
So on 2nd and 13. Nesbitt keeps it again and is hammered. Huge pile of Canes. They waited a year for this game.
Yeah, they thumped their chest after that one, but again, they got lucky on the big play that Georgia Tech just had called back. This is a defense that does not want to give up the big play tonight. So now here we come, Jesse. When you get into this third long passing situation, you know who they're going to try to throw the ball to.
Well, they're going to double cover Demaryius Thomas every time they get in a third and long situation. I think a lot of pressure then goes up on some of those other players. Anthony Allen, Kevin Cone. They have to start making plays when they're singled out.
There's Thomas at the top of the formation. Nesbitt looking the other direction. Tries to scramble. Fires late downfield into traffic. Looking for Cone, but broken up by Brandon Harris.
Not a bad job by Nesbitt of working and looking down the field. Cone just couldn't come up with a reception. He's a deep threat guy, but he just couldn't quite outcompete the defender.
Greg, it was a bad route by Kevin Cone. Josh Nesbitt was going there the entire time. We had just talked about double covering Demaryius Thomas. Kevin Cone was one-on-one on the left side of the field. He was not able to separate at all, and because of that, we're here, we are at 4th down.
And because Scott Blair didn't have great distance and would be kicking a 46-yarder off the dirt, they're going to go for it on 4th and 12. Thomas again at the top of the formation. Nesbitt pressured. Fires along the sidelines, and it's broken up. And a flag comes in. Von Telmack was defending, but perhaps a little too aggressively.
And that is a huge, huge penalty for Miami.
Well, you've got the defensive line that's hustling around, and with a four-man rush really putting pressure on Nesbitt in the backfield. So it's a depleter. It's a demoralizer for a defense that's really doing their job.
We have a pass interference, defense, penalty places the ball at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
What's going to be so painful for Miami when they watch this is even if Von Telemack lets the receiver catch the football, he's way short of the first down mark. Watch where the wide receiver is. He's 3 yards short. Instead of diving through his back and grabbing the back of his helmet, let Embry Peoples just catch the football, tackle him, and it's Miami's ball.
A redshirt freshman Telemack did not play against the Noles. Again, not much going inside for Dwyer. Big Joe Joseph, the 300-pounder, right there.
Yeah, it's that defensive tackle again. It's a kid in this football game tonight. Last week, Georgia Tech couldn't block the defensive tackles at Clemson. You know, and that really was the difference in them not being able to be successful offensively in the second half.
Paul Johnson thought both those guys were NFL-bound, 2 tackles for the Tigers. But Miami has a bunch of talented guys as well, and they'll rotate them. Dwyer just 5 carries for 7 yards so far. Nesbitt reverses field, can't get away. They're glad to have Colin McCarthy back. He had to sit this one out a year ago injured.
And you're seeing the speed right now of this Miami defense and their ability to run sideline to sideline. It's interesting. You just mentioned Colin McCarthy, Eric Moncrief, the defensive end, safety Randy Phillips, 3 leaders on this defense that did not play in last year's game. They were extremely hungry to come out here tonight.
And it's Marcus Robinson, the defensive end, limping off. Always a concern against an option offense, those low blocks. He was kind of holding his shin, but seems to be okay. Yeah, McCarthy, shoulder surgery, had to miss 8 games a year ago. Michael Barrow, the linebacker coach here, part of the great linebacker tandem, says this guy is football savvy. Good to have him back against this kind of an offense. So another third down. They need 12. Nesbitt gets pressure, fires high. Stephen Hill, the freshman, was in the neighborhood, but again, pressure on Nesbitt.
And you know what? Rolling left, I know, is against the tendency here, but it's where you got Thomas on the left side. Jesse, I'm not so sure he has the footwork as a quarterback to be effective rolling left and throwing like this.
Well, I was watching him in warm-ups before the game. They were practicing that throw a lot, and he looked very, very accurate without any defenders in front of him. Obviously a lot different when you don't have any orange jerseys breathing down your neck.
So now Blair will try from 39 yards. Very reliable inside 40. But off the infield, he pushed it. Johnson's offense comes away empty. Harris and company back up by 11.
You thought you had time, but before you knew it, Cash for Clunkers was over. And the deal that was too good to pass up had passed you by. Well, your window of opportunity just reopened. Buy a new Sonata and you'll get the Hyundai trade-in bonus. $1,000 more than what your old car is worth, plus cash back. Of course, you'll also get America's best warranty and the peace of mind of Hyundai Assurance. So, here's another shot. Stay focused this time.
Hey, Ham, what do you think the fine is for streaking?
I don't know, like $300-400? Why?
Go State! Sorry. Yeah!
The more you save on insurance, the more you'll have for football. Drivers who switch to Allstate saved an average of $396 a year. Are you in good hands?
Was done yet?
No.
Now, bring home the first summer blockbuster of the year.
That's cool.
With new origins and new revelations never seen before. X-Men Origins Wolverine, now available.
On a road trip, I map out the cheapest gas station so I can save a few bucks. We can spend it on
dog food, bags of it. So we use a credit card that gives us cash back.
It's always good to buy only solid colored wrapping paper. It's good for every occasion, like...
New snowblower. I got it off-season, half price. It's a man machine. It's aggressive.
At Citi, we know everyone's talking about spending smarter. And we've got lots of ways to help, like credit cards with cash back. Because we all have to spend, so let's be smart about it. And that's why Citi never sleeps.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Hyundai Assurance. A little certainty in uncertain times. Find out more at Hyundai.com. And Allstate, proud sponsor of college football and the Allstate Sugar Bowl. Are you in good hands?
Beautiful night for flying in Miami. The Goodyear blimp is here. New Goodyear Fuel Max tires help you get there on less gas. So Miami takes over third possession. Touchdowns in each of the first two, and another first down throw for Harris. Working down the middle. Has Bird, and Bird flies into Tech territory. Now he shows why he was such a highly touted recruit. 29 yards.
When you talk about route discipline and consistency, watch how Bird, when he comes in, puts his foot in the ground, comes across flat, right where he's supposed to be behind the linebackers.
I really like what Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator, has done early in this game. They've thrown downfield on first down. They've thrown screens. They've been in unbalance. They've moved the pocket. Lots of diversity on offense.
This is Cooper. And Craig Cooper cuts it back and barrels for about 8. How about the improved accuracy of Harris as well? Aaron Andrews on the field.
Chris, you guys had asked how that Georgia Tech defense was doing, fatigue-wise. CJ, I got to tell you, when Miami was called for that pass interference, I looked over at Georgia Tech's defense, who was sitting on the sideline, and they just breathed a sigh of relief. Although they don't look as winded as they did in the second half of last week's game, guys, they're pretty tired, and it's not really even that humid tonight.
They've been pushed backwards by the Canes. And this is Cooper muscling ahead. It's a first down at the 35.
EA, it's really interesting what you say. I think it's a big key tonight that Georgia Tech has to find ways to get pressure on Ja'Cory Harris. So far in this game, they've tried a lot of zone blitzing, but they haven't got there yet. Coach told us that they want to spell Derek Morgan, get him off the field. Craig, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that tonight. They're going to need him on the field.
They need him out there every snap they can. But the thing that I've been equally as impressed with as much as Harris is the receiving corps. They're running good disciplined routes, giving him a spot to throw the ball.
And Harris has been right on target. Rolling, finding a man over the middle. And this is Epps, the tight end. Whipple is in a rhythm as a play caller, and so is Harris as a quarterback.
All right, we just talked about it here now. Bring pressure. Can you do anything to disrupt this passing game? Watch the secondary. Watch the linebacker level. Look at all the folks. Hold it right there. Look at all these folks here, leaving this big void right there. Pressure didn't work.
On the hurry up, Cooper bounced outside and dropped for a loss. Brad Jefferson, the linebacker there. These receivers talked about how much Harris had progressed in the summer. Accuracy, arm strength. The coaches have always been impressed, Jesse, by his football savvy. He sees things out there, doesn't he?
He sees the field extremely well, and he's very football smart. It was funny, Mark Whipple talked about his coaching days at Brown. He said some of the dumbest football players he ever coached are some of the best doctors in America today. Ja'Cory Harris has great football IQ, and he's showing it out here tonight.
There's a problem with Morgan's helmet, so he's not in there. Bird in motion. Play action. They flip it over the middle. And in traffic. Cooper turns it up inside the 20.
When I heard from Mark Whipple the story about Ja'Cory Harris being kind of level-headed and not getting flustered, but wearing sometimes a red shoe on one foot and a blue one on the other one.
Well, you saw him come into the stadium today. He's got the crazy haircut. He's got the South Beach pink shades.
They're like $2 pair of shades.
Right. He says he's goofy away from football, but he's a different guy. All business when he gets out there and plays quarterback.
Randy Shannon said he's a whole lot like Meek on the field, focused.
Third down, and Morgan's still not in there. Canes need 6. Pick up the pressure. Harris fires over the head of a man in the end zone. And that was Jimmy Graham, that big 6'8" ex-basketball player. Not even he could get up and get that one.
Well, I looked on that play in the pre-snap. Ja'Cory Harris had a wide open slant coming across at the top of the screen. He decided to play the bottom half of the field, and I'm not so sure he might have not been trying to lob that football on the baseline to Leonard Hankerson.
So here's Bosher, who was voted the team's MVP last year, 18 of 20 as a field goal kicker. And the low kick booted through. So Bosher good from 34 yards. And Miami getting 17 points out of their first 3 possessions. Nesbitt and company back to work, but the hole is getting deeper.
Touch. Bigger, better picture for bigger, better entertainment. The LG NV Touch. Is it a phone or something better?
Cash for clunkers has ended quicker than anybody thought. But for a whole lot of people, it was a really great thing. Well, the way Hyundai sees it, when you've got a good thing going, you keep it going. So now when you buy a new Sonata, you'll get the Hyundai trade-in bonus. $1,000 more than what your old car is worth, plus cash back. Of course, you'll also get America's best warranty and the peace of mind of Hyundai Assurance. Now that's what you call a stimulus package.
Take matters in your own hands. Keep that car running better, longer. Do everything you can to make sure a small job doesn't turn into a costly one. And AutoZone is the one place with the expertise and tools you need to do the job right the first time. Because do it yourself doesn't mean you have to do it alone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
There for you and your guilty pleasures.
Enterprise, hi, I'm at the repair shop. I need to rent a car.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up,
This is great.
drive you to our place, and get you on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Celebrating its 5th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed more than $1.8 million in scholarship money. Matt Bosher continues his superb accuracy. His 34-yard field goal makes it 17-3. Dwyer has been held in check. Nesbitt's been the busiest runner for Tech, already 9 carries. But Jonathan Dwyer, such an explosive back a year ago, still kind of waiting to get untracked in 09.
You know, again, they've really struggled blocking up front in the interior of that defensive line. And if they cannot get a push that way, then Jonathan Dwyer has minimal chance for success.
Alex Uribe to kick off again from the little corner of grass. This is a high short kick. And the ball pitched back. Smith breaks free, and again, Georgia Tech will take over out near the 40. They've had good field position tonight on all their drives, but only 3 points to show for it. And tomorrow night, Boise State and Fresno State. What a tough assignment for the Bulldogs. They lose in double overtime in Madison. Got to go home for a huge WAC conference game.
Well, and this is one of those games, you know, Fresno State, they played well on the road in Madison last week. Boise State, they got to come out there. They, you know, little test.
Boise State 54-2 in conference play since 2002.
Wow.
You've been reading up on your WAC there. This is Roddy Jones in motion. Didn't handle the pitch cleanly and then gets smothered. This Miami defense A little slow to start, but they are ready tonight.
You see it right here, how hard the defensive ends get up the field on this one. The freshman, Oliver Vernon, great job of fighting through the double. If you put 2 men on one guy, you better block him.
He's a guy Randy Shannon really likes. He's a true freshman with a ton of physical ability. He brings a passing attack on this defense. He's got great ability coming off the edge.
Olivier was here for spring practice, left high school early. Nesbitt gets away from him that time, but on the pitch, a great hit by Randy Phillips, the leader of that defense.
This defense, you could hear Michael Barrow, their linebacker coach, talking in one of the breaks. He said, they can't handle our speed. You see that speed right now getting on the outside.
Randy Shannon talked to us about that safety, Randy Phillips. He says he is so physical and loves to play downhill. This should be a great game for him, considering the offense that they're playing against.
Your old teammate with the Giants there, he could play some ball in his day.
He would take your head off.
I think
you
he
want to
still
talk
would.
about intensity? Absolutely.
I think he still would.
Oh.
3rd and 12. Nesbitt fires right into the ground. That had no chance. He bounced it for Thomas, who was well covered over there. Another empty possession for Johnson's offense.
Sometimes when we do games and we study, we think we really have a clue, and sometimes we don't. But in this particular game, we had a feeling that Miami's defense, they were dialed in on what was coming their way.
What's so key is they're forcing 3 and outs right now on offense for Georgia Tech. And that's forcing a very, very tired Georgia Tech defense to come back on the field now. Miami offensively has been doing whatever they want.
And the 3rd down woes continue for the Jackets. They failed in their last 6. So Anderson gets the punt away, and this is a good one. Craig Cooper watches it go over his head and into the end zone. 63-yard boot. He gets ready for the Affleck trivia question. Ja'Cory Harris, the big game against the Noles, 386 yards. The 10th most in a game in Miami history. Who has the most?
It's a lot of really good names to choose from.
Sure are.
A lot of Heisman Trophy winners to choose from.
Quarterback U. He's making the U proud at the quarterback position right now.
There sure is such a spotlight on this position at this school, and many feel like since Ken Dorsey left, it hasn't been upheld, that quarterback legacy. Guys have struggled for the most part, but Harris got folks excited here. You can see why. This is a touch for Lee Chambers, the sophomore, who pitches it back to Benjamin on the reverse. And look at the freshman go. Travis Benjamin makes something of nothing. Morgan Burnett forced him out after about a 13-yard gain.
This is just great coaching. Get the ball in the hands of a fast guy. It doesn't matter if it's a bad executed play. Fast feet usually figure out how to get open.
Speed kills, and Travis Benjamin just has a knack for big plays. Against Florida State, 4 receptions, 128 yards, and a touchdown. He didn't have a catch for less than 20 yards.
You think that'll make a defense tired?
This is Chambers. And Lee Chambers, the sophomore, that's part of that tailback rotation, making the most of one of his opportunities.
I think Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator, has done a great job coming into Miami in his first year and bringing in a brand new offense. And here he goes again. He's setting up the off-tempo. He's going to go hurry up, trying to keep this tired defense on its heels.
Harris hesitates, fires. Downhill, it's complete to Patrick Hill. The big 255-pound fullback.
This is called keeping the foot on the pedal and trying to punch them in the mouth. You know they're tired. Big fullback on the outside.
You have 5'9", 255 lined up outside.
How do you miss that?
Well, Gerard Tarrant, the cornerback, drove on the tight end short out, forgetting his assignment. You see Ja'Cory Harris say, hey, I know we're not supposed to throw it to the fullback down the sideline, but my guy's open.
And Tarrant, who's had punt returns in each of the first 2 games, plenty of athletic ability, but he's had a tough night so far.
He sure has. He's matched up against very, very physical and very athletic wide receivers, and you can see that he did not play college football last year.
Chambers. Gets about 4. Anthony Abunaway tackle him.
Craig, you know what I mean? Mark Whipple comes in here. He was an assistant offensive coach for the Philadelphia Eagles a year ago. 3 years before that, he's a quarterback coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger. He'd been a head coach for years in Division I AA. He's got all these different plays to pull from. Yeah. He puts a playback together and terminology together, and something that his players understand they're able to go out and execute.
I like when he told us that what he's done is over the years, the last several years, he's really asked the players what works the best. And he's got a lot of different plays over these 20 years that he's coached, and he's come in here to Miami, and he's told them, this will be y'all's offense. I'm going to fine-tune it, and I'm going to make plays up that work for you.
And did he say y'all? Because he's from the Northeast. I don't know if he said y'all.
Utes guys, I don't know. He's a New Englander, so I doubt that.
It's Chambers, the sophomore. He's shaking up on the field.
What would they say up there on that?
Well, I like what he's done, though. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but tailored to what his players like to do, what they feel they can do effectively. So many guys try to fit players into their system.
And he said also, as soon as you figure it out, I'm moving on, right? I've got a lot more for you.
What's amazing is that he's changed the terminology completely, and he's admitted that sometimes, you know, he forgets what some of the plays are called because he was used to telling Ben Roethlisberger a certain play was one thing, and now he's got to remember it himself. He's already changed the verbiage.
Let's go to Reese Davis in the studio as Chambers has helped off the field. Reese?
All right, Chris, coming up on the IBM halftime report, we'll look ahead to the showdown between Texas and Texas Tech in Austin, and we'll show you one weapon that the Longhorns might not have unveiled this year just yet. We'll also tell you that the doctor is in. He has some advice for a rookie who's having some agent problems, and we'll also deliver some solutions for Florida State as they get set to take on BYU. Mark and Lou are here. We'll see you in a bit, guys.
All right, Reese, thank you. Canes already with 251 yards in offense. 2nd and 6, it's James back in the game. Just as a blocker is Harris. Tries to get away, but is trapped. Logan Walls grabbed him after a short gain.
A little bit of a twist stunt there. You're going to see Georgia Tech. Dave Womack, he's trying to figure out what to do. Look at the top. You're going to see a little cross and work up top here, Jesse. Trying to give him a different look.
And the clock is running right now. In college football, outside of 2 minutes, if a play is run and it's continual, that clock keeps running. It does not stop at 2 minutes.
To 3rd and 6, and the Canes are 4 of 5 on 3rd down tonight. Harris looks left, throws left, downfield. It's a jump ball. Jimmy Graham couldn't come up with it. They've tried a couple of times to get the ball to this 6'8" guy. Dominic Reese defended.
Well, how about hats off to this guy here, Dave Womack, the defensive coordinator, right? Georgia Tech, he's got a tired unit. He had to come up with a stop before halftime.
So Matt Bosher handles just about everything for Miami on to punt for the first time tonight. Tarrant.
There's Dave right there.
Tarrant back to receive the punt as Bosher tries to knock it dead deep. And a very high kick, but bounces well into the end zone. So minute 13 for Georgia Tech to work with here. The answer to our Affleck trivia question. You said there were a lot of great quarterbacks to choose from. Who has the single game passing record?
Affleck.
It's a man being honored tonight as he'll enter the College Football Hall of Fame. Heisman Trophy winner Gino Torretta in '91. 485 yards against San Diego State.
We call him Meathead. When did we come up with that?
I don't call him Meathead.
I call him Meathead. There he is. Gino Torretta. What a great guy.
You can call him whatever you want. I call him Mr. Torretta.
He's awesome. A lot of fun covering him back in the day.
He had some talented guys to throw to, didn't he? Nesbitt, he's trying to get a throw off downfield. Buying time, fires it. A short completion. Nope, ruled incomplete.
This is not where Georgia Tech wants to be. It's not what you think about when you think of a typical 2-minute offense playing spread out with 5 receivers, picking out the defense as they move downfield.
Hey, Miami's got 3 timeouts left here. You got to hope you don't punt it back and ask your defense to go back on the field again and stop Miami's offense.
You saying you'd run the ball, Craig, and not risk a pass?
Chop. Yeah.
Be content to go in 17-3 down.
Regroup. Keep my defense on the sideline.
Well, Allen on the pitch. A short gain. Aaron, what do you have?
Chris, you guys been talking about the Jackets defense, how winded they are. This offensive line for Georgia Tech struggling as well. Over here on the sidelines, Josh Nesbitt, Jonathan Dwyer trying to pump them up, but they were gassed. Also, as we were talking about, keep your eye on guard Gord Howard. It's his right shoulder. He's been struggling with that. But, guys, this offensive line, they are tired.
It's good stuff, Aaron. It's only the first half. I mean,
well, it's a big surprise to me to hear EA say that, because there's been a lot of 3-and-outs already for Georgia Tech. It's not like they've had a lot of 14 and 15 play drives.
The Applebee's weekend menu. Talked about the game in Blacksburg as Nebraska comes calling after the Hokies went out to Lincoln and won last year. Tennessee and Florida. The Volunteers about a 30-point underdog in the swamp. No shortage of motivation there or in Austin, Craig, where Adam James and the Red Raiders roll in after the big victory over Texas a year ago. Yeah. They going to be ready?
Well, hey, I put it to you this way. Do you think there's one football player at Texas Tech that doesn't think that Texas wants to whip them and get redemption and revenge? I mean, it's like this has been going on. They've been answering that question themselves for a long time.
Are they ready? Was my question to you.
I don't know. We'll see Saturday night.
Nesbitt on 3rd and 5. Fires along the sidelines and a completion. Catch to Johnson, who finally gets involved, or Demarius Thomas, I should say, in front of Shields.
Craig, you had mentioned this earlier. There was a rollout a little bit ago with Josh Nesbitt rolling to his left. He said he didn't get his feet set, and the throw kind of sailed on him a little bit. On that last throw, he did a great job getting his feet under him, turning his shoulders, delivered a very accurate ball and a very difficult throw down the sidelines to Demarius Thomas.
Lucas Cox in the game. Nesbitt, pressure, escapes, but bounces the throw. Darryl Sharpton, the linebacker, forced him to throw it away quickly.
Well, Paul Johnson's just figured it out. He's like, okay, look, if I sit on it and run the ball, they're going to call timeouts. They're going to get the ball back. So I'm going to be a little aggressive, try to get down the field. A very nice job. A great throw, as you pointed out there, with the footwork of Nesbitt.
I like Paul Johnson's thought right now of trying to move Josh Nesbitt and get him out of the pocket, because we've talked about that speed for Miami's defense. But even when he is moving, he's having to move fast, because there is a lot of heat coming from behind him. Lots of speed, like you talked about earlier at linebacker.
You've got about 40 yards to go to get in Blair's field goal range. And a whistle.
We have a false start. Number 18 of the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. And it's still 2nd down.
That's Anthony Allen. It is the tough thing about not having a field goal kicker with great range. In these kinds of situations, you really need to get 15, 20 extra yards.
It puts a lot of stress on your offense. There's no question about that. To have move the football down a lot closer.
You saw Jonathan Dwyer there at 21 on the sidelines working his shoulder. That would be a major loss for this unit.
Another whistle. This will drive Johnson crazy. A poor executing half.
In the head, way out of it right now.
False start, 75 offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Back-to-back false starts.
You know, and that's the focus that Paul Johnson was talking about. It's not overly loud in here.
No.
Right now. It's not that the lineman cannot.
Nothing like the old Orange Bowl.
Well, no, absolutely right about that. But they can hear Josh Nesbitt. They're just not focused right now.
Now it's getting a little noise here. Nesbitt fires along the sidelines, incomplete, and was looking for Thomas again.
Craig, that's another example of a quarterback predetermining where he's throwing the football to when he has a wide open receiver in the slot to get a huge chunk of that yardage back.
You know, this whole mental approach to the game, though, for 2 weeks now, Paul Johnson's been on his football team trying to get them tougher, meaner, more intense into the deal. And it all works together, not just physically, but mentally as well. It all comes together.
And there's been more rushing yards and passing yards so far, and another monster half for Ja'Cory Harris. 3rd and 20. And it's Cox with a very safe play. A little bit of a run, and Miami would likely use a timeout here. Well, they've been throwing downfield. You know, Randy Shannon says give Mark Whipple every second we can to work with.
And why not? If you go back and watch that Florida State game, Ja'Cory Harris did a great job before the half in a 2-minute offense. One timeout left right now, 40 seconds to go. The way he's played, Craig, he's been lights out.
Oh, absolutely. And the way these receivers have found the open spots, Georgia Tech really looks like they're a gear behind Miami's wide receivers the entire night. Not just deep, but underneath. And that's that Mark Whipple offense and calling these screens and deep balls very well executed tonight.
Yeah, 7 different receivers have caught passes for Miami in the first half.
Ja'Cory Harris has just had so much time to throw. He looks so comfortable. He's playing with his eyes downfield. He's been accurate. He's thrown every type of ball he needs to play effectively in this offense. And you see right there, spreading it around. He's just been lights out in this first half.
He played a lot, again, rotating last year with Robert Marr, but this is still just his 4th start in college.
I watched him in his first scrimmage on campus as a senior in high school. His first 8 balls in that scrimmage he completed. And I was like, wow, who is this young guy?
Miami Northwestern, they knew him down here. He was a local hero, part of that mythical national championship team with so many other Canes teammates. Anderson punts it away. Benjamin from the 23. Boom! A big block on the edge as Benjamin gets out near the 40. What a collision. Jordan Futch with a head of steam just blew up Steven Sylvester of Tech.
Whoa, did you see that coming from center field? And here comes the return. Get your head on a swivel, ear hole deluxe.
Oh, Miami right now is just playing fired up football. They're playing fast. Here it is again.
They're showing it again and again on the big screen, and you can hear the crowd reacting.
Whoa. That's all fine and dandy and funny as long as you're not a Georgia Tech guy right now. Woo.
That's kind of symbolic of the first half. Hit the ground, hat goes flying. Special teams can be fun. To Harris, 24 seconds. See if they take a shot downfield. He'll dump it out short, and Cooper wrestled out near the line of scrimmage.
Really nice job by Georgia Tech defensively, being alert, ready for a short pass to get the 2-minute drive started. They were anticipating that.
The flag on the Haynes.
Holding 65 offense, 10-yard previous spot, still first down.
But again, there's Mark Whipple making a call and underneath a screen. I'm thinking down the field. He's thinking get the ball in speed, and he's at the sidelines to stop the clock if he gets a play up the field.
Let's see with 15 seconds to go. If Whipple is content just to take a knee, that looks like what Miami will do, and be very pleased with their offensive production in the first half. 17 points. Defense doing its job, slowing down this Jackets running game, and there's Aaron on the field now with Paul Johnson.
Coach, your offense unable to get into a rhythm. Why?
Well, we had the ball 4 times there until the last possession. We moved it down. We've got to get it in the end zone. We just got to settle down. We've had 2 or 3 chances on the perimeter. We missed the blocks to hit big plays. Just got to get the blocks when we get it out there.
I keep seeing you go over to your quarterback, Josh Nesmith. What have you been telling him?
He's doing okay. He's just got to settle down. We've got guys running all over the place. We just got to settle down and play.
Coach, thanks. Chris.
121 total yards for the Jackets. That's it. And they find themselves in a 14-point hole at halftime as we join Reese in our ESPN studio for the IBM halftime report. Guys. Welcome back. ESPN's college football primetime presented by Applebee's, set for the second half as Georgia Tech kicks it away, down 17-3 to Miami. That effective Canes offense, so efficient in the first half, try to add to that lead. This is Cooper. And Cooper straight up the middle. Be tackled by the kicker, Blair, but good field position for Ja'Cory Harris at the 40-yard line. Guys, let's check out our Home Depot coaching adjustments.
Well, we'll follow up on what Paul Johnson said to Aaron going in at halftime. He says we're getting to the outside, but we're missing blocks. I mean, clearly there's some athleticism in the secondary at Miami, but what Paul's saying, Jesse, is true. They're missing some downfield blocks.
They haven't been focusing. There have been big plays to be had, but they have not been able to capitalize because of these penalties. They're down by 2 touchdowns right now. They had a touchdown called back because of a penalty. This thing could only be a 7-point game right now if they would just play smarter.
See if they can get in the face of Ja'Cory Harris. Another first down throw. Harris all kinds of time, lobs it downfield, and it's Benjamin. Boy, pitch and catch is easy when the quarterback's got that much time.
It's another great example of offensive coordinator Mark Whipple dialing something up that his quarterback likes. He told us that Ja'Cory Harris's favorite throw is that corner route.
Well, he's got protection, too. Look at the fullback, Big Hill, Patrick Hill blowing up, the linebacker coming off the corner. Plenty of time to throw. No way that Georgia Tech's defense can handle the pressure the receivers of Miami put on in the first half again.
10 throws on first down for Harris, guys. He's completed 6, 108 yards. Another first down throw. Once again, good protection. He flips it off short. Javaris James picks up about 4 as we check in with Aaron Andrews.
Chris, I asked head coach Randy Shannon, what are you worried about when everything went right in the first half? Intensity, guys. He needs to see that same intensity he saw in the first right here in the second. He said a lot of times last year, this young team would come out and not play as hard in the second half. He said we'll see how much they grow up tonight.
That's a good point, Aaron. They played from behind almost the entire game against Florida State. Different deal now to protect the lead. Shannon, as we said at the top, very good feel about the maturity and the focus of this team. James to the right and into the secondary inside the 25. That offensive line, guys, done a tremendous job pass protecting and now run blocking.
You know what? If you get that combination, watch out the right side of the line of scrimmage. This is a real decleater here. When you got the fullback going inside, that's hard. Nobody coming off their blocks.
Historically, Miami has won when Greg Cooper and Javaris James combine for 25 or more carries a game. They're 6-2 when they combine for 25 or more carries. They have to feed these guys the football.
You said it, Craig. A human tank there. Patrick Hill at 255, the senior fullback. Not what you want to see coming towards you. This is James again. He somersaults. Big hit by Tarrant, who upended him. But about a 6-yard gain.
I got the feeling that this was kind of a measuring stick game for Randy Shannon and his staff. Talking about coming in here, you know, can we get over the hump? And when he sees his team coming out after halftime and do this with an attitude, that's telling them something. They're ready to play. They understand.
All Johnson knows it will be much more difficult if Miami punches it in to make it a 21-point deficit. They fake it to James. Harris fires short to a wide-open man. Down inside the 5 is Tavares Johnson, the other fullback in this offense.
Ja'Cory Harris just looks so comfortable, particularly when they get down into the red zone. This is an area where they led the ACC last year in red zone offense. He just watches receivers downfield. He allows his receiver just to kind of clear through over the middle of the football field before making the completion. He's very calm. He's very focused and poised at the most critical part of the field.
James in the game, 1st and goal from the 3. And the stretch play, James barrels into the end zone. Big Mr. Hill led him to Paybert, and Miami right down the field.
You know, you called it right, Chris. It is a zone stretch. Watch big Patrick Hill, number 30. Boom! Inside, get North score.
Coach told us that he thought Javaris James was the best zone runner they had in the backfield. Great job dialing it up down close.
Now a whistle. Will they review it?
The previous play is under further review.
And let's see if James did, in fact, get into the end zone before going down.
Right now, though, everything going right for Miami. Whether they're throwing it, whether they're running it, whatever they're dialing up is working. See Javaris James here getting downhill, doing a nice job putting his foot in the ground, going north-south. That ball just has to touch that imaginary plane that is the goal line.
Ball came loose there. You can see it looked like he had broken the plane. He'll get popped in the back. Looks like his own teammate knocked him down. Matt Pipo, the tackle. Does he have possession across the goal line before the ball comes loose?
It looks like he breaks the plane right there.
There's nothing conclusive about those video shots that would suggest he didn't cross it. Look at that look on that face. And you know what? And the score where it is, it feels worse. I mean, it doesn't feel like Georgia Tech has been there with them.
James, looks like he's broken the plane there. Now, Pipo, again, falling, hit him in the back, and the ball came loose. Question is there enough evidence to overturn the call of touchdown on the field?
No, there's not.
This is really an opportunity. I mean, you see Miami, Craig, you were just talking about it. It hasn't felt like Georgia Tech is really close right now. And even if this is a touchdown, you know, they're down 21 points. Here we are at the start of the second half. Everything's out there to play for. If you're Georgia Tech, don't panic, run the offense. But at some time now, you got to start punching this thing in the end zone, scoring points defensively. You got to find a way to slow this offense down.
After further review, the call on the field of the ball breaking the plane of the goal line stands. Touchdown.
So a 60-yard drive in 6 plays after taking the second half kickoff. And Bosheron try to stretch the lead to 21. Totally different feel than a week ago tonight in front of their home fans for the Jackets. They had the big lead, 24-0. Clemson roared back, and then Tech had to rally late. Now the deficit is 21 as Nesbitt goes back to work. James just able to get into the house.
It's Applebee's 2 for 20, the one deal in the neighborhood where you get real food. Featuring a half rack of our new double glazed baby back ribs with your choice of sauces. Get 1 full-size appetizer and 2 real entrees for just $20. It's 2 for 20, only at Applebee's.
Now, bring home the first summer blockbuster of the year. That's cool. With new origins and new revelations never seen before. X-Men Origins Wolverine, now available.
Of Oceans 11, 12, and 13 comes the movie critics are calling hilarious.
We are all green.
Yes. Matt Damon is fantastic.
I am approaching the entrance to the office.
You don't really need to narrate the tapes.
Not a problem.
Matt Damon is outstanding.
Absolutely.
Wow. Matt Damon is.
Oh my God. I knew it. Thank you.
The Informant, rated R, in theaters everywhere this Friday.
Someday, cars will be engineered using nanotechnology to convert plants into components. The first ever HS hybrid, only from Lexus.
Hey, Vincent!
Go State!
Hey, Ham. Why did that guy call you Vincent?
Because that's my real name, Bergwood.
It is? How do you know that?
He's my Allstate agent.
Oh, he insures your car.
And my boat.
You got a boat?
Ah, my wife is a big-time skier.
You're married?
Allstate agents know who you really are and can help you save money by combining your car insurance with home, boat, and more. Are you in good hands?
Where'd you meet your wife?
Pilates.
She's European.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Well, sweet revenge is what the Canes sought tonight. That and building on the big win up at Florida State. This Miami team feeling it tonight. We thought coming in that they were ready. We wondered about Georgia Tech. Again, third game in 12 days. Now the mountain just got a lot taller. 24-3. This is Orwin Smith. And the true freshman showing some good moves on the return. Field position has not been the problem for Georgia Tech tonight. Doing something with it has been. 36 yards on the return. As you check in with Aaron.
You just talked about that mountain that Georgia Tech's got to climb here, Chris. Well, they're going to have to do it without Jonathan Dwyer. They're telling us he is not going to start here in this second half because of a shoulder injury. I asked, does that mean if we'll see him at all? And Georgia Tech said, we simply don't know. He doesn't even have his helmet in his hand. He's walking around very frustrated, trying to pump up the defense and this offense, but I don't know if he's coming back in. He doesn't look like he's feeling like it.
Again, just 1 yard short of 2,000 for his career. Preston Lyons is the B-back as they pitch it to the A-back, Roddy Jones, and he shows a good burst around the corner.
You talk about the loss of Jonathan Dwyer. I guess you could look at it from two ways. Jonathan Dwyer didn't play in the second half of last year's game, but then again, Josh Nesbitt and Roddy Jones both almost had 100 yards themselves.
And nothing changes in this offense. You know what? You lose the big plays ability and the strike that he might take at the distance, but you still have to run your offense. You still have to maintain some presence in the inside with the dive.
A lot of the guys who play that A-back, wing-back can look and slide back into Dwyer's position as well. This is Cox, who's got plenty of experience as a junior. He's a tough runner, doesn't have the burst, Dwyer.
And that's okay. 5 yards on first down. You keep the chains moving. You're methodical about it, and you don't panic.
They look like they're firing off the ball right now. Paul Johnson told us last year they ran for 472 yards against Miami. But he said, you know what? We were playing more physical up front, and we were playing faster than their defensive line. That's what they got to get going.
Nesbitt. He'll be dropped. Andrew Smith, the sophomore defensive end, has had a solid game.
We mentioned it earlier tonight that Miami's defense wanted to create a hump. They're straight down the line. See what happens when they bow and they make the quarterback hump and get back in the backfield. You see the penetration, the push?
I'm not so sure Lucas Cox should have been given that football. There was a big hole up the middle of the field. Lucas Cox ran right through. I'm not so sure that wasn't the right read by Josh Nesbitt.
Everything out of sync a little bit without Dwyer. Their big play back in there. 3rd and 9. Nesbitt straight back. Looking downfield for Thomas. And the big guy goes up and makes a clutch catch over Sam Shields for 1st and goal.
Sometimes it's just as simple as that. You get a mismatch physically, and you just throw the football up and let the better player go get the football. Last week on deep throws, Josh Nesbitt underthrew the football. He held on to it too late. This time doing a nice job just getting it out, giving his guy a chance.
And you know what? Thomas is one of those receivers that could be playing in any offense in the country with his athleticism. You see the vision going up for the football.
4 catches, 73 yards. Nesbitt to Preston Lyons in muscles inside the 5. They said they'd have safety help on Thomas all the time, but that time Phillips didn't get there.
Well, they found a defense and a defensive look that really gave Demarius Thomas the advantage. And Sam Shields was a wide receiver himself for 3 years, and he's got great ball skills, but going up against a 6'3" receiver, that's tough to come down.
Marcus Forston, the big 310-pound tackle from Miami, slow to get up.
But even above the 6'3", he plays 6'5", because he has that athletic ability and the body control when he goes up for the football. I like the guy. I think
he plays
Thomas,
230 as well.
He does. Well, he does that, and he runs like he's 200.
ABC's regional football this Saturday at 3:30 Eastern time. Many of you will see number 3 USC, apparently without Matt Barkley. Nothing official, but again, he hasn't thrown in practice, so it could be Aaron Corp getting the start in Seattle. Some will see Nebraska, Virginia Tech, or Arizona against Iowa.
Really curious about that football game. You think about the chess match that's going to be going on. Last year's offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator from USC now at Washington. You think they have, the lead on what Pete Carroll's thinking? What about the flip side? Pete Carroll knows both,
Yeah, but you know what?
He's in Nick Holt, what they're doing.
It does not matter because they can know all they want about the athleticism and the personnel at Washington about USC's guys. They don't have a hoss over there that's going to stop them.
No, but Barkley showed what he could do, and if he can't go, Corp's got to step up, and that place can be loud if the Huskies can have some success early.
The downside is for USC is that they don't get a chance to have back-to-back games with Barkley at quarterback. The good side is they get Corp in the ballgame.
Rookie defense asking for some noise on 2nd and goal from just inside the 3. Forston limping off. Fake it to Preston Lyons. Roddy Jones. Immediate penetration from McCarthy to blow up the play. And Olivier Vernon made the tackle.
The true freshman, Olivier Vernon, has made his presence known so far in this football game. Craig, we've seen that athleticism time and time tonight.
This is just kid key reading. You're going to watch backside the linebackers and watch how they get up in there. When they see the play and the direction of the deal, that lead blocker, that slot back, that wing back, when he leads up in there, linebackers fill the hole, meet him there.
3rd and goal. This is Allen on the pitch, and Anthony Allen walks in. So the transfer from Louisville, it was a guy that scored 20 touchdowns with the Cardinals before moving over here to Atlanta. Got a nice block from Marcus Wright on the corner.
Finally, they get that block out on the perimeter, and you see if everybody just does their assignment, there are big plays to be had.
Beautiful job of rolling through the defender's legs. Spence, the linebacker. When Wright hit him, he rolled. And when you roll, when you're trying to do the arc block, you're going to get through the legs of the defender.
So Blair on for the point, and the Yellow Jackets with an almost essential answer to Miami's touchdown to open this 3rd quarter. Deficit back to 14. Here's Thomas beating Shields, the big catch that set up a touchdown run from Anthony Allen.
Someday, cars will be engineered using nanotechnology to convert plants into components. The first ever HS Hybrid, only from Lexus.
Hey, it's great to see you back after that accident.
Well, I couldn't have gotten by without it.
Is that different than health insurance?
Well, yeah, Affleck pays you cash to help with the bills that health insurance doesn't cover.
Really?
Well, if you're hurt and can't work, who's going to help pay for gas, the mortgage, all kinds of expenses?
It's the protection you need to help stay ahead of the game.
Exactly.
Affleck, we've got you under our wing.
The Chick-fil-A Chicken Sandwich, the original way to eat more chicken.
Enterprise, hi, I'm at the repair shop. I need to rent a car.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up,
This is great.
drive you to our place, and get you on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Someday, cars will be engineered using nanotechnology to convert plants into components. The first ever HS Hybrid, only from Lexus.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Lexus and the new HS Hybrid, and Aflac. We've got you under our wing.
We guys want to go for a cruise there if we didn't have work to do this weekend?
You buy it.
It's tempting. Goodyear blimp above. New Goodyear Fuel Max tires help you get there on less gas. Far from a sellout here, the Canes will probably always struggle to fill up what is now known as Landshark Stadium, but momentum certainly building, and if Miami comes out of here with a win, when the Sooners come in a couple of weeks, be real excitement. This is Mike James. And the young back bounces off a pile and has some room. Out across the 45. Let's go down to the field of the person that Craig calls Meathead, and I don't mean Aaron Andrews.
No, you do not mean me, and we're going to follow up with that in a minute. Of course, Gino Torretta, you guys' old buddy here, and you're inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame with our very own Chris Spielman is in the class as well. When you got the call, I mean, what does that mean to you?
It means I'm getting a lot older.
True.
No, it's a tremendous honor, obviously, to be considered to go into the College Hall of Fame. Not many guys get a chance to do that, and it just brings back a lot of great memories. A lot of wins here, a couple national championships. It's awesome.
16 players, 2 coaches inducted. Let's talk about one player in particular that's playing right now, quarterback Ja'Cory Harris. I mean, great rhythm against Florida State, great rhythm tonight. What do you think about how he's doing?
Well, I think he's done an outstanding job. He's got good poise. I think Coach Whipple's done an outstanding job. He's got everybody, seems like, on the same page. And the thing I like is when he scores a touchdown, he's even keel. If it's a bad play, it's even keel. He's just worried about winning the game.
Now, let's get back to this because Chris did say, Craig refers to you as Meathead. Apparently, your wife isn't too happy with Craig James. Please tell us why.
Well, that's not a very flattering nickname, is it?
So she's upset with him?
She is. She already told Desmond Howard to relay the message upstairs.
Craig, we hope you got the message. Gino, thanks. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Good
I'm going to make a Hall of Famer mad. Thanks, Aaron. And Cooper, after getting about 7 on first down, just hammers inside the Tech 35. Pat Swilling, by the way, the former Yellow Jacket great linebacker. He's also part of this Hall of Fame class. That'll happen December in New York City at the Waldorf. You better be there to show up to give him a tribute to make it up to him.
Gino and I were playing golf in Arizona one year, and I had a ball that just ricocheted off my house, and Gino, Meathead, says, "Hey, man, you better let me go over and get that ball. You're going to get in trouble." I love the guy. We had a great time. He was Mr. Clevelander back here in the early 90s now.
What kind of establishment is the Cleveland?
Absolutely.
It's a soundpiece establishment. Don't make it up to him. It's too late.
I love Gino.
When the better half is mad at you, forget about it. Harris pressured for the first time, but he gets away, fires downfield. Bird has it inside the 5. Down to the 1. A flag is down back in the backfield. So another good downfield throw by Harris at Dean 33. Looks like it's coming back.
Holding 64 offense, 10-yard previous spot. Repeat first down.
Now they got the guy they called Foxy, Jason Fox, the senior tackle.
That's really not a guy you'd expect to have that penalty. He's considered the best offensive lineman up front for Miami. You're going to watch this here. Ja'Cory Harris is doing a nice job setting up play action. He gets flushed outside the pocket, but you see Jason Fox there just gets locked up and tangled up with outside linebacker Cedric Griffin, and there was the penalty.
As a blocker, he's engaged. He's protecting the inside. Pocket breaks. Quarterback runs around behind him. He didn't know that, so he lost containment, reached out and grabbed the defender.
Only the 4th penalty for Miami tonight. Makes it 1st and 20. And a quick handoff. Cooper stopped after a short game.
Going back to what Gino Torretta, he was one of the original great quarterbacks here, right? One of those guys.
Right.
Not the original, but he was a great quarterback here. For him to endorse and to say what he says about Ja'Cory Harris, that makes not only Ja'Cory feel good, but all those other quarterbacks here at Quarterback U feel good about it.
Well, you just mentioned it. This is Quarterback U, and we haven't really seen a big-time player since the years of Ken Dorsey here, and really Ja'Cory Harris has the potential to kind of be that next great Miami Hurricane quarterback.
He's got potentially 2 more years after this year. On 2nd and long, he flips it off short. Cooper gets around the quarter. Morgan Burnett drags him out by the neck. 3rd and makeable now.
And he's got a chance to really be good quarterback, because Mark Whipple, the coordinator, is a patient guy. You see that call right there, Jesse? How patient is that?
It's very patient. One thing that Coach Whipple loves about Ja'Cory Harris is that he takes a lot of the pressure off his other players. If he makes a bad throw, he's the first guy to point to himself. If he gets sacked, he'll turn around and look at the offensive lineman and say, guys, I should have got rid of the football quicker. Players love playing for a quarterback that has that type of unselfish mentality.
On 3rd and 7. Harris looks right, fires, caught. First down catch by Epps, the tight end, with the touchdown earlier in front of Burnett.
You know, when you watch Dedrick Epps and this offense, when they work the receivers, it's almost like each one of them is going out as if they're the #1 receiver in the route. They're working to get open.
Well, they all believe the ball is going to come to them, and for good reason, because Ja'Cory Harris spreads it around. Every guy running a route for Miami should expect the football, because Ja'Cory Harris sees the entire field so well.
Ankerson in motion. James on 1st down. Following his big fullback. Hill leading the way as James gets about 9.
This offense just rolls, especially when they get close to that red zone area. Again, led the ACC in red zone offense last year. You've seen the poise by Ja'Cory Harris, how he takes care of the football when he gets down in this area. But again, using so many different players to spit the football out to.
And despite all their troubles, Patrick Nix was the offensive coordinator. The Canes were good in this territory. Cooper replaces James and takes the handoff. Inside the 10, it'll be 1st and goal, Miami.
One thing we have not spoken about is this offensive line. You know what? We're praising Ja'Cory Harris, but how about the offensive line and the work that they're doing up front?
They are wearing Georgia Tech's front 7 down right now. Craig, you've seen great pockets all night for Ja'Cory Harris, but in the second half, when they've decided to run the football, they have been blowing Georgia Tech off the line of scrimmage.
And you believe it, Miami is out-rushing Georgia Tech, 115 to 108. Total reversal from a year ago. 1st and goal, Cooper tries to fight back against the grain, but he'll be dropped for a loss.
Trying to think of an answer over there, right? Coming up with something that you can do to slow down this versatile offense.
Hard to do when you're not deep up front in the defensive line. When you cannot rotate guys in that are fresh and that can be playmakers, it makes it very, very, very difficult to do.
It's only the 2nd negative play tonight for this Miami offense. Cooper in the game. Harris over the middle. Touchdown! Jimmy Graham, the hoopster, making an impact to the football field. Very popular with the student body. They remember this guy as a shot blocker and a rebounder in the paint.
Right side over there. He found the paint this time. He got out of the dirt and into the green.
He wants to follow in the footsteps of guys like Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, who kind of came to football late, and he thinks he's got an NFL future.
Why not?
They call him the Beast. 6'8", 260. They've been trying all night to get him the football. Finally found him over the middle, and Miami just continues to roll up points. The lead back to 21.
Applebee's 2 for $20, the one deal in the neighborhood where you get real food. Featuring a half rack of our new double glazed baby back ribs with your choice of sauces. Get 1 full-size appetizer and 2 real entrees for just $20. It's 2 for $20, only at Applebee's.
Someday, cars will be engineered using nanotechnology to convert plants into components. The first ever HS Hybrid, only from Lexus.
It's time to feel NASCAR's biggest battle begin. with 12 drivers chasing one championship. Feel the old guard flex and muscle. And the young guns shift into high gear. It's time to feel what it's like to fight for a place in NASCAR history. The chase begins at New Hampshire, Sunday at 1 Eastern on ABC.
Every season is a story where each game counts. With MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV, don't wait for the headlines. Go beyond the home team and follow every team, no matter where you live. Get up to 80 games per week and watch the action unfold as it happens. With the most games in HD, see this story write itself. Catch the MLB Extra Innings race for the pennant for just $69 on DirecTV.
All right, who's ready for the new NFL Sunday Ticket?
Red, all HD, hot route.
Translation, only DirecTV gives you every NFL game in HD.
PC, Mac, mobile, Blue Jester.
That means you can watch all games live on your cell phone or laptop no matter where you are. Just add NFL Sunday Ticket and Superfan to experience football nirvana.
18, Chatterbox left.
Not funny.
I thought it was funny.
It's not.
Shut up.
Time's running out. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS.
Well, for the Canes tonight, 6 possessions and 4 touchdowns. Jimmy Graham, the guy that used to come into the basketball court to block shots. He had 104 career blocks. Big rebounder, but he says what he loves about football, you can't foul out. The basketball not quite physical enough for this guy.
Spoken like a true big man. Top 10 in career blocks at the University of Miami.
And a difficult childhood. Had to give up football at 15. Welcome back. If he becomes a weapon, that really gives a different dimension to this Miami offense because they already have Epps, who's a good tight end. Orwin Smith. Good coverage from the Canes, who drag him down short of the 20. As we check back with Reese Davis. Reese?
Chris, as you know, every week we honor the ESPN AT&T All-America Player of the Week, and big man Tate gets it for Michigan this week. Tate Forcier with his brilliant performance against Notre Dame. 310 total yards, that touchdown run on 4th and 3, and of course the game-winning touchdown pass. Every week you can text vote to 345-345 on your AT&T wireless phone, and you can enter for a chance to win a trip to the national championship game.
Okay, Reese, thanks. Tech back to work. Preston Lyons again because Dwyer has an injury, and Roddy Jones absolutely hammered by Telmack. That Long Beach, California skateboarder. He's kind of an oddball on this team, but he knows how to hit.
Again, this is a Miami defense extremely well versed and schooled up on tendencies, and Telemac comes in immediately when he sees that blocker coming his way.
I got this feeling right now. We talked about the swagger that was so famous from those great 80s Miami Hurricane teams. It looks like this team right here has got a lot of that. On offense, defense, special teams, these guys are amped up, and they're jumping around.
Defense wasn't the story up in Tallahassee. Frankly, Christian Ponder had a pretty good night.
Previous play is under further review.
I'm going to see if the ball came loose. I think if it was a fumble, Georgia Tech recovered even if it did come loose. Canes defense couldn't have felt that good. They came very close to surrendering a game-winning touchdown reception there. Forson couldn't come up with the ball, but tonight a whole different story.
I think you know the fact that the offense is so strong so early. I think they're reviewing here because the ground can't cause a fumble, right? So that would be the point of where the down would be. The ball
didn't feel good, did it? Ouch! The face mask right onto the turf for Jones.
See Vaughn Telemac, the safety, just go low and kind of chops his knees out from under him, forcing him to somersault forwards. Craig, I agree with you. I think the ground causes that fumble. They might have to take a look at where they decide to spot this football, move it up a little bit. But boy, oh boy, as a running back, man, that looks bad. Landing that way, wow. On that dirt too. Craig, that's one thing you and I, we didn't think there was going to be any of this infield out here. You and I have both played on surfaces like this before. It's tough to stay on the field.
After further review, it has been determined that the runner was down with the ball in his possession on the 15-yard line. Second down.
Aaron?
Chris, just to add about this infield dirt, There have been guys that have bandages, bloody uniforms. These trainers on both sides have been kept busy because this dirt is so hard. I talked to the grounds crew. They said it's been heated up because of the sun, so guys are bleeding all over the place.
Sun-baked earth in the infield. Thomas trying to make a man miss. He can't quite get away. Brandon Harris, the sophomore, grabbed an ankle and held on.
And that dirt is like gravel. It's a hard, gravelly rubber.
We've seen a lot of guys slip on that surface, and it's really interesting. If you wear those metal spikes, you'll just slip and slide all over the place. It's very, very difficult to get your footing on as well.
Landshark is a beard, by the way. Jimmy Buffett involved in the ownership there. And the Canes were saying, all due respect to the Marlins, they hope they don't make the playoffs. So don't get in that wild card thing so this grass can be filled in and they won't have to deal with the infield for too much longer. 3rd and 9, Nesbitt. He's going to keep it. He's going to get the corner. Dives out of bounds near the marker as Sharpton was there to force him out. Looks like they're going to spot him a little bit short of that first down.
Little burst there.
Well, he beat a very fast player, an outside linebacker, Sean Spence, to the sidelines. Sean Spence last year was the ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's got a lot of physical ability. You see Nesbitt getting outside. It's
going to be 4th down. Paul Johnson got to think about going for this, doesn't he? Even though he's deep in his own territory, you're down 21. You can't stop him.
You can't stop Miami right now. You might as well.
Yeah, you get the feel, Chris, it's going to be 38-10 if you punt it and they start from the minus 40 or right where they are.
A little desperation here from Tech, and you can understand why late in the 3rd quarter. They've had 7 plays for negative yards tonight. They don't need much. Preston Lyons is the back. Nesbitt dives ahead. A flag is down. Uh-oh, a false start. Oh, my goodness.
False start. 60 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
That's the experienced left tackle, Brad Sellers. That's about 4 or 5 false starts tonight. Now it's 4th and 5.
And really kind of a worthless false start out there. You're a tackle. You know it's a quarterback sneak, No reason to be really fast off your horse.
That's a great point. Now Paul Johnson changes his mind deep down in his own end. He's going to trust his defense to try and stop this Miami offense, get the football back. They're going to punt.
Here's Chandler Anderson. One thing the Jackets have done well tonight is punt it. Ooh, it gets away. Anderson boots it out of the end zone. That's a penalty. That's a penalty. You can't take a safety. You can't make it that obvious. Just said the punting game at least been solid, and that goes awry.
The snap is going to go high, and just when things are not going your way, they kind of really expand.
You can pick it up and fall on it in the end zone. That's a safety, and it's no problem. You can't boot it out.
How about the eye-foot coordination on that, though? The football bouncing around, just actually get his foot on that to kick it through the uprights. All the focus is almost left Georgia Tech right now. You see that the costly penalty leading up to that. You see Paul Johnson's disappointment right now with his team. The penalties have really been what has hurt this Georgia Tech offense.
Execution has been lacking in all phases. Final minute of the 3rd quarter. All those aches and pains feel that much worse when it's 33-10.
Paul Johnson's got a tough task here right now. You want to get on your guys, but you can't lose them for the season. There's a lot of football to be played left in this ACC year, so get on them. But you got to remember too, you're on the road, 3 games, 12 days, no gas in the tank, and sometimes it is what it is.
And it's a pretty good Miami Hurricane football team they're playing. I think that's been obvious so far in the first 2 games they've played.
Besides that option offense, the Tech defense has been strong in recent years. 33, the most allowed to a conference opponent, and we've still got a quarter to play. So Benjamin Cooper deep to receive the free kick. Benjamin has some blockers and has a little crease and darts into Tech territory. Now the chase begins finally. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series from New Hampshire on ABC Sunday. Jimmy Johnson trying for a 4th straight championship. Coverage at 1 o'clock Eastern time with NASCAR Countdown. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Mark Martin, that's your guy, isn't it? That's Corso's guy, the AARP driver. Yeah. It's been tight, though. Stewart, Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Casey Kane all bunched up.
Now, that's a first.
Head off to Loudon.
What do? You're confusing me with Corso now.
I know that Mark Martin was somebody's favorite. Short gain for James. And that'll be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Miami, what an effective quarter. Brought a lead out from the locker room, marched down the field and scored their first 2 possessions of the half.
They've just been completely dominant in the second half. Randy Shannon said he wanted to see how his guys would respond coming out of halftime. I think he got a pretty good answer.
If you're looking to maintain intensity, mission accomplished. Miami a big lead heading to the 4th.
The Colts battle the Dolphins at 8:30 on ESPN Monday Night Football.
Someday, cars will be engineered using nanotechnology to convert plants into components. The first ever HS Hybrid, only from Lexus.
Our vision. Redefine high definition. Create blacker blacks for brighter colors. Using greener methods. We're revolutionizing how you watch, listen, and live. At Vizio, we find a better way, and we make it for everyone.
Hey, it's me, Water. Did you know that when you filter me at home, I'm pretty much the same as I am in a plastic bottle? Except that you'll save like $600 a year. But other than that, we're pretty much the same. Pure, good, clean water.
Chrysonic BLT and tots, $2.99.
Have one of those tots?
Yeah, you know what? I'll throw you one. Go long.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Go long, man.
Oh, long?
Yeah, I'll really air one out.
Okay,
go
yeah,
long.
let's go. Ready?
Yeah. Go long, man. Yeah.
$2.99 Chrysonic BLT and tots. New at Sonic, a medium order of Sonic's famous tots, together with a BLT on a soft, buttery croissant. Now just $2.99.
There for you and your guilty pleasures.
What do you say to a spin around the color wheel? To paint with primer already mixed in. Test samples instead of canned commitments. What do you say we dip into our wallets less and grab a hold of the latest tools out there so we can quit all that messing around with extra steps and get busy turning our doing dials up a notch? More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Someday, cars will be engineered using nanotechnology to convert plants into components. The first ever HS Hybrid, only from Lexus.
College football primetime presented by Applebee's has been a good showcase so far for Miami. Canes take over at the 45 of Georgia Tech. And Javaris James hammers ahead and set up 3rd and short.
You know what's amazing to me? After watching Derek Morgan terrorize Clemson a week ago, to the tune of 10 tackles, 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, I can't remember the last time tonight we've mentioned his name.
Well, early on we mentioned it because they had moved him to linebacker, and he was trying to be, protected and roam back there. Did not look good at linebacker. They were cutting him and keeping him out. So now here he is, trying to figure out what he can do. But it really has been, since the second half last week, he has not had gas in his tank.
On third down, it's Craig Cooper breaking free. Pushed out inside the 10. In the first half, it was Harris throwing. Now the running game is rumbling.
They called this spilling the guys on defense, and this time Derek Morgan, he came hard down to the inside, but you got to have the safety come up. They have to be able to put the net against the running game.
They're running this right at Derek Morgan. You see him trying to pitch inside. He gets pinned, and then Greg Cooper shows you the balance. He shows you that speed. Greg Cooper, one of those guys, looks like he almost gets stronger as the game goes on.
And Morgan doesn't have a single tackle tonight. They're looking like a top 5 draft pick. Miami has to call a timeout. The play clock was at 2. It's all working for the Canes.
A work of art, a finely tuned machine, a sanctuary, a command center, a sophisticated sedan, a sports car. Nissan Maxima, the ultimate dual threat. Now get a new Nissan Maxima for 0% APR financing for 60 months. Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy.
We had such potential, such promise. Life must go on.
Please, we can't do this without you.
9. You shall protect the future. Rated PG-13.
We're introducing new designer brands and eye-catching looks that have you covered. From hanging out to going out. For an affordable, remarkable fall, visit the men's store inside JCPenney. Style, quality, and price matter. JCPenney.
This year, the results are in. This Madden is the Madden. This year is the year. Madden NFL 10. Rated E for everyone. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Xbox 360 Elite. Now $100 off.
This week on Countdown, will Mark Sanchez shine in the glare of the spotlight? Former Jets QBs debate. And Drew Brees reveals what his pregame chants mean to him and his teammates. Sunday NFL Countdown, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
After the game on SportsCenter, Matt Barkley's status for USC Saturday. The NFL quarterback our expert says can't afford another flop. How do Hamels and Beckett look on the eve of the playoffs? Plus, the biggest custard pie fight ever. Woo!
A year ago, this time, the game in Atlanta, Tech had a 41-10 lead. If Miami can punch it in and they've got first and goal, it'll be 40-10 the other way.
I heard Reese Davis use an expression Saturday. He said, they hit him right in the mustache. I love it. Miami has hit G-Tech right in the mustache tonight.
And a few other places. Javaris James in the I formation behind Hill on first and goal. James backs down to the 4-yard line. Now it's just a matter of finishing, and you know Randy Shannon's not going to relax just because they're up with 13 and a half to play.
Just because that's not his nature.
No.
Randy Shannon knows that he's got a good football team. We felt the confidence, didn't we? This week we felt it from the coaching staff and the players. They knew what they had. Coaches told me in the preseason, hey, we've got a talented offensive line, and we got players in place now.
You said, Randy, you seem looser. Why? He trusts his team. Different team than last year. Totally different feel, he believes. And they're showing it early in the season. Cooper tries to bounce it sideways, but nowhere to go.
Touching back on what Randy Shannon told us, he said a year ago they had a handful of upperclassmen and a bunch of freshmen out playing. And he said, you just put them on the field, and let's just go see what our guys can do. There was a bit of an age gap there, but he said this offseason, the team really came together. They banded, and they bought into the message that he was delivering them. And the seniors on this football team started policing themselves. They went to the coaches and said, hey, what do we need to fix? We can take this on our own shoulders. This is a unified football team that we've seen so far early in the season.
There's still a tiny group of seniors. Very few guys left, but the ones that are around are leaders and contributors. And it's still in motion and a penalty. A little lapse in concentration on the goal line.
Ball start, 23 of the offense, 5-yard penalty. It's still third down.
I also like when I heard Randy Shannon talk about when he first became the head coach here, they could travel usually 60 players roughly. He would only take the guys that he thought earned it and deserved it. He'd take 45 with him. You know, they kind of,
that is thin.
You know, it is thin. On the road, 45 players. But, you know, it's a great statement he's making to his locker room. Guys, if you earn it, I'll take you with me.
These are guys didn't want to practice. Didn't want to even go out there in the practice field. So you could stay home on the road trip.
Leave them home.
Cooper takes it on third down. Muscles back inside the 5. Jacory wants to go for it. Is he convinced his coach? They're talking about it. I heard Randy say kick a field goal.
They're going to go for it. He said stay out.
Yeah, that was a discussion, huh?
I think Randy said, I don't want to kick a field goal. You know, I think Randy's being respectful right now, a little bit of Paul Johnson. The old linebacker showing a little compassion, maybe?
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I'm just figuring either you get 6 points or you leave them down there, the play clock running down, and they'll take a timeout here.
Yep.
Yeah. So the discussion continues. Another reminder that ABC Regional Football at 3:30 Eastern Time features number 3 USC. Perhaps without Matt Barkley, has got a sore arm, still not throwing in practice, we're told, against Jake Locker and the Huskies. Some of you will see Nebraska, Virginia Tech, or Mike Stoops in Arizona against Iowa. And Gronkowski, the tight end for Arizona, I'm told, out, not in that game. Yeah, it's a big loss for the Wildcats. Yep. So upon further review, here comes the reliable Matt Bosher from 26 yards. So to make it a 36-10 game. No, he pushed it. Randy says, you got to be kidding me. That never happens. Well, we talked to Gino earlier. Coming up next, another Heisman Trophy winner with those old school headphones. Desmond Howard with a visit.
It's Applebee's 2 for $20, the one deal in the neighborhood where you get real food. Featuring a half rack of our new double glazed baby back ribs with your choice of sauces. Get one full-size appetizer and 2 real entrees for just $20. It's 2 for $20, only at Applebee's.
You don't see all the 5,000 quality tests we put the Nissan Altima through. But you can see the result. The Nissan Altima, ranked highest mid-size car in initial quality by J.D. Power and Associates. Right now, lease a new Nissan Altima for just $199 a month or get $1,500 cash back. Look closer. Nissan delivers.
Appetizers, gentlemen.
I'll start with the steak tartare.
I'll have the same. But hold the tartare sauce.
The more you save on insurance, the more you'll have for football.
Are you in good hands?
Boxing's pound-for-pound king with a perfect 39-0 record is back in the biggest fight of his legendary career as he steps into the ring with one of the greatest Mexican boxers the sport has ever seen. Two great champions will go to war in the biggest boxing event of the year. Floyd Money Mayweather, Juan Manuel Marquez.
Don't miss my return to boxing when I knock out Juan Manuel Marquez live on DirecTV pay-per-view.
Imagine having this guy as your big brother. I get it. He's pretty good. 4,000 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, yada, yada, yada. And you could have seen it all. But you didn't. Come on, step it up. You already got DirecTV. Just add NFL Sunday Ticket, and you can watch any game you want, no matter where you live. You know, he did throw 12 interceptions last year.
Don't miss another game. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS for the new NFL Sunday Ticket.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's. It's a whole new neighborhood. And in part by Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy.
The first ever career miss by Matt Bosher inside 40 yards. Keeps it 33-10, and Tech will take over at the 20-yard line. Our colleague on ESPN College Game Day, Desmond Howard, is down on the sidelines. Desmond lives very near the Miami campus, keeps a close eye on the Canes program. Want to ask him about his talented core of Miami receivers in a second as Nesbitt and the Jackets go back to work 80 yards from the end zone. And it's Preston Lyons. They fake it to him. Allen on the pitch. A couple of flags are down as he's dropped about a 5-yard gain. We'll check the markers. We welcome in Desmond Howard on the sidelines. Desmond enjoying things from field level tonight. Desmond, what do you make of this core of receivers tonight? We've seen, Bird get involved tonight. It was Benjamin with the big game against the Knowles.
Exactly. Chris, I think they have a very talented and deep group of wideouts, like you said, and they're all different with their little special talents. You look at LaRon Bird. He's a guy who he has above average talent, but he has an incredible work ethic. He's not going to blow you away with his numbers on paper, but you see it's hard to check him. It's hard to cover him. He runs very good routes. And then Benjamin, on the other hand, this guy is a flat-out sprinter. He's a north and south guy. He's the deep guy. They want to get the ball to him in deep routes, deep post routes, and go routes. And then you have Hankerson. To me, he's the guy who he just gets it. He's been around the program for a long time. He's seen the ups and downs, and he's taking advantage of his opportunities tonight.
We've also seen him work in the tight ends, Epps with a touchdown, and Jimmy Graham with a touchdown catch as well.
Exactly. I think that the tight end in college football are underutilized, and you can look at a guy like Jimmy Graham. This guy was a basketball player. He just started to play football for the Canes this season, and I spoke to Coach Shannon. He said that Jimmy Graham is not not afraid of anything. He loves his work ethic, but he loves his mental approach to the game. And Epps, this guy, he's a very versatile tight end. He can catch the ball, run after the catch. They use all their weapons.
You saw the run by Allen get a first down, but Marcus Wright dropped for a loss.
It does. You come out and you've watched Miami play a lot. You live in the area.
Yeah.
What sort of things have you seen from Ja'Cory Harris? And how about his maturity and how you've watched him develop over the last 2 years?
That's a good question. I think that the biggest difference with Ja'Cory is the offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple. I sat down with Mark before the season started, and just his approach. He's worked with Donovan McNabb. He's worked with Ben Roethlisberger. He knows how to get a quarterback prepared for a game, and I think that showed in the FSU game on Labor Day up in Tallahassee, and it's showing again tonight. This performance tonight, it shows you that whatever happened in Tallahassee was not a fluke. Ja'Cory threw for 386 yards, the most a Canes quarterback has ever thrown in that rivalry. So it speaks for itself what Mark Whipple means to Ja'Cory Harris.
And Desmond, this is the first time since 2003 that the Canes have started the season with two 30-plus point outputs.
You know what we're doing? Hey, fellas, I'll say this, though. We're sitting here talking about this Ja'Cory Harris and these receivers and this and that. The last time these two teams squared off, Georgia Tech hit them for nearly 500 yards on the ground. Miami's defense tonight has held them to 109 yards so far on the ground. That's a big story for this player.
You're right.
Yeah, I got another big story for you too, Craig. I just saw I I just saw the wife. Touchdown. You just jinxed him, Craig.
Well,
Craig, you just jinxed the
wait a minute,
defense.
Desmond, there's another good receiver on the field. He's on the Georgia Tech side. That was Demaryius Thomas, the big 230-pounder, getting downfield. Exactly what they did not want to do, give up a downfield throw.
He's a big receiver. You're right about that.
You know what, though? But this is a little bit Miami's defense going to sleep. But you've got to really, it wasn't on the ground at least, Desmond. I was talking about the ground game.
Hey, Craig, speaking of quarterbacks, Gino Toretta's wife, she did give me a message to give to you on the sideline during halftime.
Can you say it on the air? Don't say it on the air if it's bad.
Well, I'm going to delete the expletives, okay? She said, don't call her husband meathead. I'll leave it at that.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Toretta.
Jackets going for 2 after the touchdown by Thomas. And a whistle. Hey, Desmond, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate your insight on the Canes, and travel safe. We'll see you in Austin for game day.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
See you, Des.
All righty.
There's a false start, which will move them back, and now we'll see if they still go for 2. Back of the 8. Boy, 3 Canes had a chance to break down big Mr. Thomas. The one guy you need to watch in the situation protecting the lead. Now, frustration for Johnson. You heard him screaming. The offensive lineman, Phil Smith. So now Blair to try the point. And he boots it through. So it's still a 16-point game, theoretically a 2-score game, as Miami will take over with 8:37 to play. Thomas, a force.
Our vision. Redefine high definition. Create blacker blacks for brighter colors using greener methods. We're revolutionizing how you watch, listen, and live. At Vizio, we find a better way, and we make it for everyone.
A work of art, a finely tuned machine, a sanctuary, a command center. A sophisticated sedan, a sports car. Nissan Maxima, the ultimate dual threat. Now get a new Nissan Maxima for 0% APR financing for 60 months. Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Hi, it's pretty easy to see what draws me to Esurance. With my family, a job, and a pretty long commute, it's hard to find time to take care of things like auto insurance.
Let alone how much it can cost.
I chose Esurance because they save me money in no time.
With quote-by-print convenience, you can start saving in minutes.
And with hassle-free automatic payments, that's one less bill that piles up.
Get your fast-free quote today.
And get animated about your auto insurance with Esurance.
What's that?
Aged Gouda. What do you call cheese that isn't yours?
Nacho cheese.
Let's go. I understand someone needs a daiquiri recipe.
1.5 ounce light rum, 3/4 ounce of lime juice, 1/4 ounce sugar syrup.
Next time you have a question, ma'am, just text me at 542-542.
Thanks, guys.
Text your question to 542-542.
There's Jesse's spot again. South Beach salsa. You have a date there later on?
Absolutely not. I can't dance like that.
Is that not an opening then?
Yeah, we're about
you didn't bring any roses with you.
45 minutes away from South Beach.
Gave all those away.
Chandler Anderson is the punter. Tech apparently will try an onside kick after cutting the margin to 16. Here it comes. And a good job. Didn't get the kangaroo hop that he needed, and Colin McCarthy, the linebacker, falls on it as we check back with Reese in the studio.
Chris, I thought that was Herb Street dancing there for a minute. Sports Center right now, the Colts will be without Anthony Gonzalez for up to 8 weeks. He has a sprained right knee. They've picked up Hank Baskett to try to take his place, former Ohio State star. out with that bad knee problem. Cole Hamels, though, appears to be the picture of health. He took a perfect game into the 6th, struck out 10 over 8 as the Phils defeat the Nationals. He's starting to look like an October ace. Sports Center coming up after the game. Stay current with ESPN News.
Now Reese Kirk, the Salsa Boy, is in Austin, Texas, getting ready for game day on the telecast. No doubt shoveling some Tex-Mex in his face right now. So Miami takes over, and this is James as they hammer the middle of the defense and try to work on the clock. Talked about Ja'Cory Harris' success on first down, success downfield. Here's the pass chart so far.
And he spread the football around to multiple different receivers. He's just played so poised and just took everything that the Georgia Tech defense gave him.
I love it. As an offensive guy, I know when you quarterbacks used to pass the ball and spread it around, it got you involved. Everybody expects that they've got a chance to get it.
Short gain on 2nd and 8. It'll be 3rd and long.
You know, we talked earlier about how Randy Shannon had mentioned that this is a very different team. He's got a lot of confidence in this team. It was a young team last year, but I'll tell you what, it's still a very young team this year. When you look at the 90-man roster, 53 players are either freshmen or sophomores. This is still a very young team Randy Shannon is coaching, but they're playing night and day different than they did a year ago.
Good-looking recruits keep arriving all the time. So Harris, who's 6 of 6 this half, figures to throw it on 3rd and 8. A little play action. Flips it to Bird. And Bird fights for first down yardage in front of Tarrant.
This may have been one of the most impressive things I've seen from Ja'Cory Harris tonight, just to prove to you that he knows what all of his players are doing. He rolls out to his left. It's not there. He has the ability to look back and drift because he knows he has LaRon Bird in the curl.
I'm with you, brother. I'm sitting here, and he had an open receiver if he could have gone to the left. Comes back right, doesn't panic. This guy wears red and blue shoes. How can a guy wearing red and blue shoes?
And pink shades.
One red and one blue, that is.
That's right.
See if Bird got the first down. Yes. Football tomorrow night. Crucial game in the WAC. Boise State. Certainly a BCS contender, ranked at number 10. Visiting the rivals from Fresno State as the Bulldogs try to get back up after a double overtime loss last Saturday at Wisconsin.
Big fan of Boise's quarterback, Kellen Moore. Here's a guy last year that almost completed 70% of his passes. He had a career-high 4 touchdowns last week against Miami of Ohio. He just has a great feel for the game. So much fun to watch.
Hey, couldn't see your arrow. This is James. Bounces it. Gives a stiff arm there to Burnett, but not much. And a flag is down. Right at the tackle.
I tell you who I'm also a big fan of out there is head coach Chris Peterson. I mean, here's a guy, he's not trying to go somewhere else. He's not building. He's simply coaching football. He's got his players, his guys. And, you know, to your point about Kellen Moore, pretty impressive numbers. Not a lot of mistakes down there.
I think it's getting a little sloppy now for this Miami offense. Holding penalty will march the ball back to about the 42.
Well, not finishing the way Randy Shannon would like. There's a missed field goal. They give up the big touchdown pass to Demaryius Thomas. Now here they are kind of stalling around here midfield. They need to show their coach they can finish games when they have their opponents down.
They had a 1st and goal at the 7 on that last possession, ended up missing the chip shot. On 1st and 20, Cooper takes it. Had a little crease, couldn't quite get by Mario Butler, who tripped him up.
You talk about a tough schedule. This football team's got a lot of challenge in front of them, starting out with Florida State and Georgia Tech at 14 and 18. That's impressive. Then they have to go to Blacksburg, and that's going to be really challenging.
It always is in Lane Stadium. A very hard-fought defensive win by Miami here a year ago. And then October 3rd, will the Sooners have Sam Bradford back? That's the big question.
There were a lot of people that didn't think Miami could even win 2 of those games at the start of the year, and they put a very good showing on a lot of those teams down the line. They're watching tonight thinking to themselves, man, We got a big fight coming up.
You're right. A lot of fans might have said, yeah, we'll take 2-2 easily, sure, to start the season. Another handoff to Cooper as we check in with Aaron. Aaron, what do you have?
See, just to add on what you guys are talking about in Miami's schedule, and talking to Randy Shannon about this, he said the most important thing is for his team to just keep looking ahead when dealing with this kind of stuff. His biggest concern coming to into this game, besides Georgia Tech's offense, was not looking back at Florida State. We know these guys got patted on the back all week long because of that big win, but just keep looking forward, not looking back at what they did.
It's easy to do that when you get opponents like this ahead. I mean, the Hokies is always a tough, physical game.
Did you vote them in the top 25 last week?
Miami?
Yeah.
Sure.
I did too.
Basically just a one game, but a quality win, I thought, at Florida State. We don't know yet how much that means, beating the Seminoles. I mean, they struggled against Jacksonville State. They travel to BYU this weekend, another intriguing game.
And then Florida State, we might not really know because they go play at BYU this weekend, so they may get thumped there.
Take a look at the top 10. Cal has to avoid the upset trap at Minnesota. The Bears were not a good road team a year ago, just 1-4. So we'll see if they can get out of the Gophers' new ballpark with a W.
I'm really looking forward to this Texas Tech game coming up. I had a chance to talk to head coach Mac Brown at Texas today. He said they lost last year. They got beat up on the offensive and defensive lines. That line of scrimmage. They have to do a better job this year if they're going to win.
On third down, they keep it on the ground, and Cooper kind of snakes ahead, breaks tackles, and muscles for a first down. Tough running on third and long.
He just gets stronger as the game goes on. And for a guy that's active in special teams, they play him a little bit at wide receiver. They give him the rock at running back. He's got a great motor, Craig.
Well, you know what? The offensive line's got a great motor. At the running back, you put that combination together, and they just keep running and pushing and knocking on Georgia Tech.
At that little stutter step, he didn't yet have the first down. He had to keep the leg drive going. 86 yards rushing for Cooper. He's got it again on first down. You know, they ran for 90 yards against the Noles, and they seemed fairly satisfied with that, but they're feeling better about the running game coming out of this one.
And what's amazing is Georgia Tech, and I feel kind of weird saying this, they only have 109 yards rushing right now.
Incredible.
That's incredible compared to what they did last year, and the fact that they were averaging 318 rushing yards coming into the day. But we asked Randy Shannon what he expected to see, and he says, yeah, you can't stop them running because they'll carry it 50, 60 times. They've only ran the ball 36 times tonight because of this. Miami's offense has stayed on the field and limited the possession for Georgia Tech.
And Dwyer, before he was nicked up and knocked out of the game, carried the ball 5 times for just 7 yards.
Wow. You know what, though? With Dwyer or without Dwyer tonight, Miami's defense, they had a game plan coming in here. This coaching staff, no matter which position I went to, they all knew. Secondary knew what to do. Linebacker level, defensive line, everybody understood their responsibility. They had a few extra days to prepare for this option offense. And when they came out here tonight, they came out with a plan and a purpose and with passion.
But they carried it out. They knew what to do, and they actually followed through with it, which is another matter. Cooper again.
That's a great point you make, Chris. You know, everybody knows what to do to stop this offense. You got to play sound fundamentals. Somebody gets the dive, somebody gets the quarterback, somebody gets the pitch. But it's easier said than done when you're getting all these different blocking schemes thrown at you.
I go back. The big question is, and it's not a good one to Paul Johnson. He doesn't like the question. But LSU in the bowl game last year dominated. Second half last week, Clemson got after Georgia Tech's offense. Tonight, Miami's defense got after this offense. If you're strong inside and you're aggressive to the ball, you can do it.
Little unbalanced look for the Hurricanes here on third down. Cooper takes it to that side. Gets outside and doesn't get the first down.
You and I are doing the same thing right now, partner. If he just stays north, keeps that foot in the ground and just going.
Run by an arm tackle.
That might be a touchdown.
They did that little wrinkle you talked about, Craig. They brought the tackles around to the right side, and you see a man is down. And is that Derek Morgan?
I think so.
Brad Jefferson, 91 or 51.
Okay. I think it's middle linebacker Brad Jefferson.
Morgan is standing up. It's not the fine defensive end. It's his counterpart on the other side of the defense, Robert Hall, the junior. Now, we talked about the Texas Tech game. It was that play in Lubbock at the end of the year. Harold to Crabtree with 1 second to go that shook up the season. Changed the championship chase. After Texas rolled in there, the top ranking. Of course, Harold and Crabtree aren't there. It's a big difference as the rematch in Austin takes place this Saturday night.
Yeah, but you know what? I've had a chance, obviously, with Adam playing out there to watch these guys this summer a lot, go to their practices. They have a great chemistry.
They did it again.
Yeah.
But Texas Tech is a football team this year. Ruffin McNeil, their defensive coordinator, is an outstanding coach, and they communicate well. Now the question is, can they go to Austin against the Longhorns defense? You know Will Muschamp's going to be coming at Taylor Potts big time this week.
One quarterback has been in the spotlight and played extremely well. Taylor Potts threw 7 touchdown passes a week ago, but he's never gone into an environment and had to start a game with 102,000 people on top of him. Curious to see how Taylor Potts handles that.
It'll be a lot faster for him than the first ball game with Sergio Kindle and those guys coming on those Muschamp blitzes.
Kindle's picked up, put on some weight, and he's a beast. The guy's an excellent football player, and if their front seven can match where they were last year, I mean, Texas right now, you have to say, hey, here's a team that's got a lot of control of their own destiny. Sam Bradford down at Oklahoma, that was going to be their real challenger in the Big 12.
It's amazing when you think how much Texas lost last year in terms of the big picture, losing that game with a second left to go. And obviously that they get kind of bunched into that three-way tie. They get excluded out of the Big 12 title game, which doesn't give them a chance to play in the national title.
And you see Robert Hall helped off. This is not a defensive line that's blessed with a great deal of depth. He lines up opposite Morgan. And with guys like, Darrell Richard and Vance Walker, Michael Johnson off to the pros competing for roster spots off last year's team, this would be a tough loss.
And I said it earlier about Paul Johnson. His challenge is that they don't have the gas in the tank tonight, but he's got to remember there's a lot of football to go this season. In the ACC, it's so balanced. There are a lot of good football teams. You never know what's going to happen.
Especially when you look at the schedule of what Georgia Tech has to deal with coming up. 6 of their next 10 opponents on the road. They got to go to Mississippi State. They'll get UNC at home. They got to go to Florida State. They get Vatech at home. I mean, you look at this mass right here, and they don't have their first bye week till right there. I mean, they got to go 11 weeks before they get a bye, and you talk about how important those weeks are for teams that are nicked up to get healthy again. Georgia Tech does not have that luxury this year.
No, they don't. That Carolina game looms pretty large. A loss will never knock you out of the race in the ACC. I mean, 5-3 wins divisions here.
They got 7 days to get their legs back under them, and to realize they came and played against a very good team tonight at home.
So it's 4th and 3 for Miami. There's the Canes defensive line over there. Enjoys a job well done. It's Ellen Bailey in the center there. Moncour on the left.
And you know something else about Randy Shannon? He's recruiting guys that have come from winning programs, right? Guys that know and expect to win. A good culture in that locker room.
See what they've got in 4th and 3. They'll shift back. Harris was not under center. Now he is. Cooper behind him. Just trying to draw Georgia Tech off sides, and it doesn't work.
It's the right decision for Miami right now. It's still a 2-possession game. They're down 16 points. Kick the field goal, make it a 3-possession game, and in effect ice this thing.
Bosher tried to do that the last time, but missed the little chip shot. Again, the chase begins. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series from New Hampshire, ABC Sunday. 1 o'clock Eastern time, but NASCAR Countdown. ESPN.com has more information. The astounding if Jimmy Johnson could win this for a 4th straight year. Unprecedented, correct?
Yes, it would be.
So in comes Bosher off his first ever miss inside of 40 yards in his last attempt. Lines up from 31. Just to make it a 3-possession game. Tries it again. Never in his career until the last 2 attempts.
Here's a guy that was the MVP of the team last year that missed 2 field goals all of last year. He's missed 2 inside the quarter, like you said, Chris, inside 40 yards.
Did you see that stare by Randy Shannon? That glare at his player. And it comes down to focus. You know, you get out and you've really dominated a football game throughout the night, and everybody falls off.
I bet that's a message Randy Shannon will send to his team when this thing's over. He'll bring up this 4th quarter and say, you know what, we had him down. We didn't step on their throat.
Boncher is one of the most reliable players on this roster, regardless of position. So Nesbitt, now in 16, goes down in the backfield. Olivier Vernon, that talented freshman, on the sack. Aaron?
Hey, I just wanted to add about the stare by Randy Shannon that CJ was referring to. I was standing right by him, and CJ, I got to tell you, I don't know if you saw it, Matt Bosher, he didn't even look up, because you know he could feel Randy Shannon staring at him all the way across the field as he walked over to the sideline, man. It was intense.
Nesbitt, again, pressure. Dropped again. Stephen Wesley, as that Miami defensive line starts to pile up the sack total.
Well, they've got 9 days, which is a plus, to get ready to go play at Virginia Tech. So along with his message of look, we got to kick them to the curb when we got the chance. I mean, now the defensive line, as defense comes back out, it's playing.
You'd argue the schedule's worked out pretty good for Miami this year, having 10 days to prepare for this game and the spread option. They'll get 9 days to go up and play in a tough environment. Not bad.
That's the Silver Cloud to a very tough 4-game gauntlet. You're right. Nesbitt fires downfield, and it's intercepted. Brandon Harris tight ropes the sidelines, and the sophomore brings it back inside the 15.
You love Brandon Harris's story. He played last year as a freshman.
Number 90, roughing the passer, defense, 15 yards, previous spot, automatic first down.
So it's wiped out by the roughing the passer.
I was just going to say, a guy that struggled last year, really playing well early this season, but you'll see Josh Nesbitt here in the pocket, stepping up, making a throw.
Yeah.
And that's very, very late from Stephen Wesley. That's a good call.
Yep.
Another mental breakdown, undisciplined play, which wipes out the takeaway. So there'll be enough things, even if they hold out and win, for Randy Shannon to coach going forward.
Absolutely.
I think really it's true. I think Randy will take this and turn it into a positive. Had they just ripped him through the whole game, he wouldn't have had a real message to send them.
But gave up the big touchdown to Thomas. And he missed some tackles, missed a couple of field goals. Now a fumble on the exchange, and Nesbitt has to fall on it at the 20.
On the flip side, I think Paul Johnson's going to get his team regrouped back in Atlanta. He's going to put the film on and say, guys, mental mistakes. Shooting ourselves in the foot, clean it up.
With a false start in the very first series. Nesbitt pressured again. Firing downfield, looking for Thomas, who's behind the man, and it's just off his hands. Brandon Harris, who just had the pick call back, was beaten deep. How do you let Thomas get behind you?
You know what? You have a broken pocket. Nesbitt rolls. He buys time, and he sees way down the field a guy that you would never think Thomas would drop this football, would you? As sure-handed as he's been.
I'll tell you what, Demarius Thomas quit on the play as well. He was trying to run a stutter go. He looked back, did not see Josh Nesbitt in the pocket, and kind of quit on the route. If he had just kept running, he might be in the end zone right now.
Did you see the official go down over there?
He's been the only pass catcher for the Jackets tonight. He has all 6 of Nesbitt's completions. On 3rd and 16. He'll just fire downfield again. It's a jump ball, incomplete. Harris went up, broke it up. Stephen Hill, the freshman, was the intended receiver.
How about the confidence this team has in Brandon Harris lining up one-on-one receivers? The story I was wanting to talk about earlier, he dropped 4 interceptions last year and played very poorly against Florida State last season. Everybody was down on him. He went back this offseason and got with the former great Miami safety, Ed Reed. talked to him about how he needed to play, and Ed Reed told him, hey, you know what? You need to go out and start playing with a lot more confidence and stop being so afraid to make mistakes. And I'd argue Brandon Harris last week led the team in tackles. He was the ACC Defensive Back of the Week. And right now, having a huge series. He had a pick called back, but he's holding his own. He could be a shutdown corner for this team for 3 years to come.
So here's 4th and 16 for Tech. Nesbitt rolling, is chased. And there's a wobbly pass out of bounds. And Miami will take over deep in Tech territory. Another frustrating night throwing the ball for Nesbitt. And this time, the running game didn't get going either.
Yeah, but Ja'Cory Harris got going early on, and with his defense playing like they were, Ja'Cory Harris looked deep, he looked short, he was all over the field, and it was an outstanding job by the offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple, of calling the plays. Receivers all over the place were getting balls thrown to them. I really enjoyed watching the execution of Ja'Cory Harris in his maturation. Here's a guy that backed it up. Florida State, great game, followed it up with another great game.
Well, it's obvious Ja'Cory Harris just felt very comfortable with the game plan, and anytime you're completing 80% of your passes, that proves it. He's known where to go with the football. He's played outstanding today.
He's our Wrangler 5-star player of the game. Also cut down on the mistakes that he had up in Tallahassee. Had a couple of picks that night. No interceptions tonight. And Harris just takes a knee as the clock will count down, and Miami will start this season 2-0. And Craig, where do you think about ranking him in the AP? There were 20 coming in.
Yeah, I didn't quite have him that high, but it'll depend on, it's somewhere in that 13, 14, 15, 16 range, I think, depending on how some of these other teams play this weekend. But looking down the road, you've got Virginia Tech having to deal with Nebraska Saturday, right? That's going to be a bruiser game, and you've got Miami sitting here with a couple extra days.
But the ACC Conference has been waiting for a bell cow to emerge and kind of reestablish itself.
They've been waiting on a quarterback to show up.
Yeah, well,
Corey Harris may have shown up and become the quarterback of this conference.
It's only week 3. They've only played 2 games so far, but I think we'd all agree that they show signs of being potentially very, very good here down the road.
And they beat their arch rival on the road to open the season, and they got a sweet payback game. And then we talked about the 4 straight losses Miami had suffered at Georgia Tech. The loss last year ruined their chances of playing for the conference championship. So it is a sweet payback game for Randy Shannon and his young team, off to a 2-0 start. Paul Johnson back to Atlanta and regroup for another tough assignment against North Carolina a week from Saturday. Good feelings that Randy had about this young team will only grow after this performance.
Well, you know what? There's a lot to build off of, a lot of coaching still to come. But I go back to the point, the question I just posed to you. Is there a better quarterback hotter right now in the ACC than Ja'Cory Harris?
You can make the argument there might not be a hotter quarterback in the country right now the way he's played.
Crank up the Ja'Cory for Heisman campaign. Aaron, what do you think?
Hey, I think we're just talking about Heisman campaign. I'll get back to you in a minute on that. Hey, another effort where you're just so poised. What was key for you in building off that win against Florida State tonight?
Oh, man, the thing that was key for me was watching how my team came together and just came and played as one. As long as we do things as a team, we'll come out with victories like this, and that's what we're trying to do.
And speaking of team, a lot of your guys on defense here celebrating like it's the national championship. Guys said Georgia Tech ruined your season last year. What does it mean to finally beat them?
Man, Georgia Tech last year and years before, they always stop us from going to the ACC championship. We could have just won last year, went there, but now we had to come out and beat them. We're 0-4 in the past couple of years against Georgia Tech, and we're playing with a chip on our shoulder. We had to let them know, this can't go on for long.
And that tough schedule continues. Virginia Tech coming up, and then, of course, Oklahoma. How does this set you up along the way, this win tonight?
Oh, man, this win tonight, it keeps our motivation going. It keeps our team together, keeps us focused, and we just know we got to take it one game at a time. We're not looking into the future or looking at individual accolades and things like that. We just want to perform every time we get on the field. All
right, Ja'Cory, thanks so much. Chris, to add on that, I think I heard him say he was going to wear a diamond stud suit if he was ever up for the Heisman.
Wow, we got that look forward to.
I think it was a pink suit with a diamond-studded goblet.
All I care about is looking at his shoes. One red and one black.
Score settled against Tech. They held him to 95 yards rushing. Another good evening for Ja'Cory Harris, and Miami marches on towards Blacksburg a week from Saturday at 2-0. Well, Sports Center coming up next. Scott Van Pelt and John Anderson over on ESPN News. We've got Post-Game Extra. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Craig, Jesse, and Aaron Anderson, and our entire crew, I'm Chris Fowler. So long for now from Miami. Canes win it 33-17.